And just like that, it is the final trading session of 2023. What a year it's been. We'll recap a few things, a few important notes, a few data points here going into the final session of the year. Not much to look forward to as far as economic data today. Market kind of flat on the week. We'll have Michael Noss coming up. He's going to touch on a few ideas going into next week. But impressive numbers across the board. 24.6% right now for the S&P 500, about 14% for the Dow. NASDAQ has led the way all year long, continues to 54% to the upside as we head into the final trading session of the year. It's been just a monster year for tech. We'll wrap up things for 2023 and look forward to what is to come going into the new year. Santa Claus rally in full effect as well. We're up about 1%. It's not huge, but it's in line with the historic numbers for the Santa Claus rally, positive on the week anyways. It's the final trading day of 2023. It's Friday, December 29th, 2023. Tradertv.live starts now. It's crazy. Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a pretty impressive year right across the board for, this is the Qs, but the NASDAQ in general, right at the highs. We're at all-time highs. The S&P creeping back towards that all-time high. Look at this move, even just from the October lows. Like, just from the October lows, this market has done nothing but go straight to the upside right across the board. If you zoom out even further, you get a little better idea of, yeah, the year started way down here. The Qs were $260. When the year started, 261, 262, thereabouts. If it was January 2nd again and someone said, just buy the Qs and just hold it until the end of the year and you'll probably do better than most.
Yeah, you would have done really well.
It's impressive, but yeah, here we are. Last trading day of the year.
Yeah, it was a good year.
Yeah.
For the exception of that, that period between mid-July to mid-October when we were selling off hard. But yeah, those were buying opportunities. Seasonality really did come into full effect again this year in the later part of summer, early part of fall. Hey man, 57% on the NDX, no complaints here, Brenda.
Yeah, it's unreal. AI, obviously the main topic of the year as far as what has led strength-wise. We'll touch on some tech names obviously coming up. Just to recap, if you missed it yesterday, this was what happened across the board, pretty flat. As I said, NASDAQ down a little, S&P up a little, Dow and Russell pretty much flat on the day. Futures today, all green, but not huge numbers to say the least. Yeah, a few things to discuss moving around as far as individual names are concerned. We'll get into that coming up. But Neil is off, enjoying a long, extended holiday weekend going into the new year. Obi in for Neil. It's good to be back. Good to be back with both Sean and Obi today. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Morning, Brendo. Good morning. Welcome back, Brendan. Hope Neil has a great holiday today, but it's going to be a good day. Why not?
Yeah.
Heading into
the day of the year?
Yeah.
What
a fantastic year.
Oh, boy.
I mean, oh, boy. Yeah, there we go. We already have the line. The oh, boy is already out.
I'm just imagining where we were January.
What are we going to do today?
December. I have no idea. We were pretty flat yesterday.
Welcome.
Spy.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Glad to be here with Obi today. It should be another great day. There's a couple names moving around. Crypto moving around. Shout out to Nimit. He said crypto's probably in play today. You're right. I actually have, and this sticky note is going out, and it's a name that I was long, and I'm not anymore. It's gonna be Hut 8. I like Hut 8 today. I feel like there's a good opportunity there with some news about the Celsius network. I like it. I feel like it can get going here. It's actually starting to go right now. It was just at $16. Well, I mean, you know, kind of these dark pool dumps and whatnot. But here we go. Let's see if we can get this going upside a little bit here for Hut 8 again today. But yeah, no, the market, what a wild one. We are going to have the podcast tonight. Make sure you watch that tomorrow morning. It was well received last week. That should be a lot of fun there with me and Brendo. And then, yeah, I just feel like, you know what? Energy, pretty depressed right now. There could be some trades there. But yeah, NASDAQ. You know, another name here that's going to be on the sticky note, I'm just working on it. The sticky note's done, I just got to get it out. AMD, I feel like could really, if there's going to be names to look at today, I feel like AMD and ARM. Stay with the names. You mentioned something, the only name that's doing Arval.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to explain what RVOL is? First of all?
Just relative volume. It's doing a little bit more. Well, a bit more than it normally does. Fisker is doing
Fisker
over
is
like
the only one, it
25x
seems like, yeah.
RVOL in the pre-market. So
Yeah, so
got that one on
Fisker,
watch.
yeah, so the reason why we talk about that quickly, it's going to be on the watch list. Make sure you grab that watch list on tradertv.live. I see you have it up, I have it up, we all have it up. Can't we all just be friends? You know, but if everyone checks that out, there are going to be names on there, and that's the thing. It's all about preparation, and I feel like preparation on days like today is what really makes the difference between, you know, sort of a rookie trader and a more veteran one, and that can also help with your confidence. You know, because if you're going to sit there and trade a name that's not really moving around too much, don't expect too much.
Yeah.
You know, you have to go in with some expectations, and that's why we talk about relative volume. We expect Fisker to be on the move a little bit today. There's news, we'll talk about the deliveries, and like I said, it's on the watch list. Look for names that are moving around. That's why I shout out Nimit and some of you other traders in there that are looking at crypto, saying, I bet you crypto is going to be on the watch list. Someone even said, Fisker, on the sticky note, Fisker is going to be on the, and you're right. It's both those names. So I'm just glad that the community is subscribing to the watch list, checking out the sticky note. I know, hold up what you have there, my friend. There we go. And then we've even talked about it too. Neil's got sticky notes. He's got his little iPad sticky note there.
Yep.
And I just think it's all about preparation. And that continues to be the case every single day. Because you got to hit the key. If you're going to sit here and trade, you got to hit the keys. And if you're going to hit the keys, you better have a reason to do that.
Yeah.
So that's why we're sitting here ready to get all prepared up and everything. I had a great night. Wife and daughter were away. So me and my son, we played some, I think it's called Super Mario. It's the new Mario. It's like a Mario Wonder, I think it's called.
Huh,
It's on the
okay.
Switch. It's really fun. It was really
Nice.
cool. Pretty easy game to play with. He's 11, so he thought it was really easy. Then we played some FNAF Friday, 5 Nights at Freddy's. He's downloaded some game called Security Breach. Man, don't jump scare me like they do in FNAF. I don't even know what the hell FNAF is. Now I'm using it all the time. Like my kid, like now, I used to call it 5 Nights at Freddy's, or no, Friday Night at Freddy's, but it's called 5. Anyways, it's a stupid video game. I don't know if anybody knows about it, but.
I have no idea. What's it about? It's like a quick.
It's like, you ever heard of
rundown.
Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like animatronics that have gone bad.
Okay, and so you're fighting.
Yeah,
them,
so
or like-
basically it's like you go into this old Pizza Hut, basically, like a pizza, it's like a Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
And it's closed down, it's run down, but then there's these animatronics that are like kind of your friends, but kind of not. And you have like little missions that you have to complete.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, like one will just show up behind you and like scare you or whatever.
Right.
And those are like those jump scares. So I think
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's fun. He likes it. Anyways, all right. Let's go back over, talk about stocks, and I'll get the sticky note posted.
All right. We were just talking about that Leave the World Behind movie. It's Sharif's halfway through it and a little surprised at this point, but trust me, it'll all make sense.
All right.
It's very good. All right. Let's touch on a few things here as far as what is happening so far today. Sean, you were mentioning, we're going to record the podcast tonight. That'll be available tomorrow. Best week by far, by the way, Sean, so far last week for the podcast. So thank you all, by the way. Make sure you subscribe to that and come join us Saturday mornings at 9:30. We saw this earlier, Tesla on watch once again this morning. Looks like they're narrowing down their search for manufacturing facility in India. They have a city located, apparently, and some property located, so that's underway. Lyft and Uber on watch this morning. Yeah, one of the best performing S&P 500 stocks so far this year is Uber.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit surprised by that, but obviously went into the S&P 500 going back a couple of weeks ago. We had yields back to the upside ever so slightly this morning. I mean, it's been a quiet week, so there's not a heck of a lot as far as economic data to point to today. We are going to get a Chicago PMI reading coming up at 9:45 this morning. If you're hearing that for the first time, it's Purchasing Managers Index. Just a reading on, in the manufacturing industry, how much purchasing managers are buying to make stuff that we buy. So it's kind of boring.
Well, it's input costs are
Yeah.
always a factor, especially for goods providing companies. Keep an eye on that. We had a couple of bond auctions yesterday and the day prior. Brendo, the 5-year, the 7-year. The 5-year was quite market moving. people watching will recall that. Yeah, not too much to report. I just want to see if this rally is going to continue into next year. We know what happened January 3rd, 2023. It was the beginning of one of the biggest moves up I've personally seen in my short time here watching these markets, Brenda.
Yeah, as far as Tesla is concerned, it's been, I mean, it was pretty weak over the past couple of days here. Hanging on to the bottom end of the range, I guess, this morning. A little bit positive on the day. I mean, there's not a heck of a lot moving around so far this morning, guys, but Tesla a bit of a laggard so far the past couple of days here.
Yeah, yesterday we didn't have, just working on this sticky note, of course. Yeah, yesterday on Tesla we didn't have, yeah, I've told you, Fabian, I can't hear Brenda or anybody right now. It's just really super choppy, so I turned it off. But Tesla right now, look, yesterday, I don't know what happened there, Brendan. Yesterday to Tesla, honestly, we were talking about it. There was that Xiaomi car that was released. They're not making money on it. It's $125,000. Thing is, there's all these real cool sports cars and all that kind of stuff that are now coming out. You know, that's always been the case with cars. New models, new ideas. I just don't know if anybody's going to be coming at the king the way people think they are. Tesla still is a great name and a great stock to own. And we've talked about that over and over again, even with, you know, Kevin O'Leary and some of the guests that we've had on. Even people that aren't necessarily bullish on the EV space still understand that Tesla is one of, if not the only, US car company that is actually making money on electric cars, that actually has a margin. But the thing is, yesterday when it falls pretty good. There were some rumors that maybe Elon was selling for some reason. I'm not 100% sure, but that's where his wealth is generated from. So if he's selling, I mean, that would cause even the rumor of that happening. We saw Tesla go downside when he was acquiring X, and then that's another story of the last couple years too, is basically the takeover of Twitter. I mean, there's a lot to talk about that happened in 2023. I mean, we had the 16th largest bank disappear at the drop of a hat, basically. All right, so Tesla continues to make a move down, but you know what? We weren't even bought up at the end of the day. Normally, I'd like to see this kind of a move happen and then close somewhere near there. But then we closed on the lows for Tesla. So I think Tesla is probably a short at these levels. I mean, it's getting a nice little bump up here. I yesterday shorted this breakdown of 256, and we had this move. It was a great move, and we never got back into it to try to bust along. So it's up 0.38. Yesterday's drop, until I can find out exactly why. I'm looking to probably short in and around here, 256, 257 area if we get going again. But it's still, you know, nice downside move. You could see we're not going to get to that 280. I thought there was a chance at 280. The highest we got to was 265. Not horrible. But Obi, we weren't even, in the middle of the month, we were down here at 230. So it's had quite a nice move up. Surprising that it's falling down here into the end of the year, but that 260 I think is still going to be key. You know, we had that 260 long the other day, which was a monster break. And it was my best trade of the day. We made this trade at like 931, and it was my top stock. And I was out of it like at 940 or something like that. It was a top stock all day. So Tesla's going to give us a lot of opportunities. I just like this short in here somewhere. This is, again, a 20-minute chart. We have the 200 period moving average right where we said we'd like to short it. So 256, 257, and then if you're wrong, maybe we just get out at 258 and call it a day. But Tesla's actually not on my radar today. It's the other name. It's going to be Fisker, and we're going to talk about that. We do have Michael Noss coming up. Maybe we can ask him about, I know if you guys have a lot of topics going on, but maybe Tesla would be something that he could look at as well, because I feel like that's a name that a lot of traders yesterday were like, oh my God, Tesla's falling down, and we did really well on it. We only made one trade. We shorted that it was either 255 or 256, played the momentum to the downside, and it was a mover in the afternoon. So I think Tesla has a chance to go down even further today.
Yeah, I like the sell on Tesla yesterday. I was just watching it. If there was a name to sell, it was Tesla. But before I talk about Tesla, I just want to shout out D. Westermeyer in the chat. What's up, man? Saying one word before I leave for the Florida Keys. Nice. Confluence. Have a great trading day, and thank you so much for everything that you do, Trader TV. Thank you, Mr. Westermeyer, for being the awesome person that you are. Again, he came to the floor. Remember?
Yes, I was not here. I feel
time.
bad that I was not here. But
Yeah, you definitely missed out on meeting a great.
I like meeting our.
But yeah, thank you, D. Westermeyer. But back to Tesla here. Yeah, strong selling at the end of the year. So curious to know what we do in and around these prices. We had some trouble pushing that 60, and as Sean said, the day before yesterday, 60 came in real hot. But then the day right after, we pretty much wiped that whole price range from the build up into it. So that 260 definitely coming back in could be interesting. But this 265, kind of the strong selling. Let's see if it continues through yesterday's low 252 as well. So Tesla definitely on watch today. I didn't really take any trades on it yesterday or the day before, but definitely on watch as we're coming into the end of the year, end of the week as well, and some strong price action going into it.
All right, let's bring in, there he is, Michael Noss, CMT over at Trade Ideas to wrap up. Not only, I mean, it's been a quiet week, as we've said. Michael Noss, good to see you.
Good to see you.
But pretty impressive year right across the board, as we were saying, specifically for tech, for the NASDAQ, the S&P, I just saw 24% going into the end of the year here. There are a few, we touched on, going back to last week, the Santa Claus rally, still on track here going into the first couple of days of next week. I think we're up about 1%. If you go back to Tuesday of this week, 1% for the S&P 500 anyway, still positive. But there's a few seasonality things that we want to really be aware of going not only into the end of the year, but into January that you want to talk about today.
Yeah, and it's a good time to do it because as Brendan was saying there, the market hasn't moved very much, so I don't have too much technical analysis to go through today. Next time I'm on, we're going to have end of year charts. We're going to have monthly charts. So there'll be a lot more charts next time I'm on. But I did pop up one. I changed the first slide. I don't know if that messed anything up in the slide deck because I don't know if you can go up one more just to answer Sean's question about Tesla.
I
it may not have loaded on your end.
I cannot.
No. Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I'll just describe it then. So Sean asked about Tesla. I tried to do something on the fly there, but that's fine. I am with Sean on the fact that I'm pretty bearish Tesla. And the reason for it is just that the Qs, as Brendan was mentioned when I was in the green room, are hitting all-time highs, and Tesla is far from it. And I think that's a pretty simple way to look at a lot of these stocks. If your stock hasn't participated in this massive rally the overall market has, then that means that the institutions, the big money, are not picking this as opposed to something else. So if you're holding something at the end of the year here on lows where the market's on highs, then for me that's something that I want to move on and try to find something else. But sorry for the interlude there, but we'll get into the overall the slide deck here, and we'll start with the actual first slide about the January effect. Because as Brendan was saying, there are three different, and I have notes here that I'll be referring to, but there's three different January barometer and indicators that I want to go over. A lot of these get confused, but they are pretty powerful. So I want to make sure I kind of split these up properly. So the first one is called just the January effect. And this is the one you've probably heard the most of. And that's just the fact that a lot of people think that it means the market's up in January. What it actually means, and again, I really want to shout out the Stock Traders Almanac by Jeff Hirsch. They've been doing this for like 50 years now, where they study these seasonality patterns. In the January effect, what we actually expect to see is small caps and stocks that were weak going into the year to actually start to outperform strong stocks. Now, I have here reverse window dressing. So I talked about this before, about how strong stocks generally continue to be strong into the end of the year. And the main reason for that is tax loss harvesting. So if I have a Apple or NVIDIA that I'm up a lot on, and then I have an AMD or an AMC or something that's I'm down a lot on, I'm more likely to sell the one that I'm down on, to defer and to harvest that tax loss against my potential gains. What will happen quite often in January is you see an opposite of that, where now I want to, maybe I still like that stock that I'm down on, I just wanted to harvest that tax loss. So I may in January go back and rebuy that stock after whatever the wash sale window, again, I'm not a tax accountant, whatever the wash sale window is. That's the belief of why we think that this reverse effect occurs, where small caps often outperform large caps, and beaten up stocks will often outperform really strong stocks going into January. So I'm not a fan of dumpster diving, but how I like to use these seasonality things is I'm going to spend a lot of my weekend going and looking for stocks that have been hanging out in very low bases for very long periods of time. Think of your ARC charts or Pelotons or something like this, because they may get a lift going into with this January effect. So that's a January effect. That's interesting. Not as interesting to me as this next one, which is the first 5 days. So this first 5 days has an 83% hit rate. And basically what this says is that if the first 5 days of January end up being positive, there is an 83% chance, going back to 1950, which is pretty wild, that the rest of the year will close positive. Now,
Wow.
it doesn't, it could be positive by 0.1%. Doesn't mean we're going to get a screaming up year, but it means that that's generally possible to occur if that first
Wild.
5 days of trading is positive. Next one, and the last one, is just the January barometer. So the saying that Jeff Hirsch and the Almanac Trader coined is, so goes January, so goes the year. The idea is simply, if January as a whole ends up positive, there is I believe, an 80% chance that the rest of the year ends up positive if you go back again to 1940, I think they did it. So this is 3 seasonality things that I'm really going to be watching into the beginning of January. Basically sums up to the fact that if we see a nice push in the S&P 500 and in small caps in this beginning part of January, then that should be really positive for the overall market. Now, the last slide here is what happens if none of these happen, if both the first 5 days and the January return are negative. I believe this may be from Bespoke, but you can see mostly red. So basically, we're focusing on the far right column here. So these are all of the years where the first 5 days were negative and the January return was negative. You can see a negative 38% year, right? 2008. I know a lot of you guys may not have been around for that, but we also have 2000, which was the tech bubble collapse. A lot of these years that started off bad ended really, really bad, and with only a 30% positive rate. So I'm going to be laser focused, and I'm sure at the end of January, I'll tell you guys what the readings were on this. But I'm going to be very focused on this first month, because again, if we see these positive, then that's great. If we see it negative, then I think we really got to worry about what the year's going to look like.
Interesting, right across the board as far as the way that January kind of sets the table for what is to come later on. We've touched on in the past as well, one more to kind of consider here. Next year being an election year as well, it would be interesting to kind of go back over that 83% mark and see during election years specifically what the return was.
Yeah, and I guess that's, I'll write that down, and maybe that's what next time I'm on we'll talk about, because there is, and this is something we study quite frequently in the CMT, the Chartered Market Technician, there is a very kind of flow of a pattern of the market being nervous before elections and then positive after elections. So I'll grab a chart and we'll see what that looks like. But yeah, it's a very interesting question. How will this election season affect what we're looking at right here?
Fantastic. Michael Noss, Happy New Year. Enjoy the weekend, enjoy the long weekend. We'll touch base again next week.
Talk to you then. Have a good one.
It's when an educated individual agrees with you. Doesn't happen too often to me, but Michael Noss there, looking bearish a little bit on Tesla, so that was nice. Thanks for covering that, and a Happy New Year to you, my friend. Enjoy it with your family or whatever you are doing for New Year's. And a couple good stats there. That one about the first 5 days, and then creating a positive flow for the rest of the day of the year. That's pretty interesting. We'll see what happens in January. I mean, I think these interest rates have been pulled forward, all these interest rate cuts. And if the Fed slips up on this, then I feel like we could be in for a little bit of a swoon in the early parts of the year, especially if the Fed doesn't continue the course, which they're going to. They're going to start cutting. But we have a little bit of a difference in what the Fed rate tool is suggesting as opposed to what maybe the Fed is actually going to do. I feel like we're trying to pull forward about 150 basis points worth of cuts. We'll go over the Fed rate tool in a minute, when there's a lot of people out there that are predicting that potentially the Fed might only cut 100 basis points or even less than that. And we still got some data to come in January to see where that comes through. So I'm worried, you know, I feel like the only thing that's stopping this market is going to be the unemployment rate, to see where that goes. But hey, right now everything seems to be pretty groovy. And then of course I still have the problem when Xi and Biden had that conversation a couple weeks ago, and President Xi said that he has pretty much full intentions of going into Taiwan, which if and when that happens, I think that could be a downside in this market as well. But always love having Michael Noss on.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be an interesting year coming forward, with the way we've set up this year as well, and changing economic conditions, and I guess political situations in the world as well. Definitely could be interesting for market volatility in 2024. I think we have some good price action to look forward to. That's for sure.
I like it. All right, we have some upgrades and downgrades. Do we actually have upgrades and downgrades today? That'd be good. All right, let's go over to the desk, or to the screen, or the desk with Brendan, or the screen with Adara, one of them.
Yeah, one sec. We'll get that set up for Adara and get some upgrades and downgrades here. I was going to mention Fisker real quick, just to touch on that, up 10% this morning on this deliveries number. I mean, the number itself, not really that impressive, let's be honest, but when it's such an improvement, 300%,
Exactly.
In fact, definitely notable.
4,700 vehicles here, Brendo. Look, I get an umpteen amount of ads from Fisker on my Instagram. I don't know what all these ads are for if they can't make enough of them to deliver, but 4,700 is what they handed over. Should be noted, Brendo, that they're going to hand over more in Europe because they've actually contracted Magna International and their Austrian facility, and Magna's actually produced over 10,000 vehicles for them this year. So producing more in Europe than they are in North America, but there's a lot of demand apparently for this SUV.
Yeah, when the price is what it is for Fisker, 10%, not really a huge move, but notable anyways, volume behind that as well so far this morning. All right, as promised, Dara has some upgrades and downgrades for you.
Natera here getting a downgrade from, an upgrade from BTIG Research, and Novus as well getting an upgrade here from Canaccord Genuity. Neogenomics getting an upgrade from BTIG, and last but not least, Costco getting an upgrade and a price target increase to $7.45 from Tigris Financial. In terms of downgrades, both Nomura downgrading both Uber and Lyft right now, both these rideshare companies, but increasing the price target for both as well. So that one is definitely something to keep a note with regards to Uber and Lyft. ConocoPhillips here also getting downgraded from Raymond James, and last but not least, Neogenomics here as well, guys. Take
Uber with the downgrade, that's something interesting.
Yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about Uber there, Obi. So
Yeah, go for it.
yeah, I mean, this is basically where I sold, you know, some of my Uber. You know, we talked about this kind of move that happened. They got the inclusion of the S&P 500, and it's kind of like, you know what? I actually read something pretty interesting about. Hold on a second, before I do it, you know, I have to do this. So I was talking with Kathy Wood last night, which I was not. And she was saying that she thinks that it could be a sell an event type of thing with the Bitcoin and all this approval happening with all these ETFs. So it's a very interesting thing that we got a bump up in crypto, obviously, in the last little while. And I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Bitcoin's still holding out at 42.8 right now. It's pretty strong. And we have HUD 8, and I have longs in crypto today, so I'm excited for the crypto space. But it's about, you know, buying things ahead of a potential event, right? And then, so that reminds me, when I think about Uber, it reminds me of that about Bitcoin. So that's where I'm wondering that is it time maybe to sort of, and she's been a big proponent of Bitcoin, so let's find out if that does happen. We do have another event where there's going to be liquidity supply. I think it was January 10th with the halvening again. But okay, Uber. So what I'm getting at with Uber here is the same kind of thing. We had a beautiful run up there. You know, they're making money. They're a profitable name. And they deserve this kind of a bump up for sure. I think that with everything, like we're going out tonight, so the wife is coming here after we drop the kids at the grandparents, and it's been a freaking crazy week, man. We've been so busy, but tonight we're going out and it's gonna be Uber time, you know, and I feel like that's what it is. I have Lyft on my phone, but I'm just looking at Ubers. And I think that's, you know, Uber Eats, the grocery delivery, like just everything that they're in and the global exposure. I really, really like the name, but I think it's overcooked. I mean, you could still like names that have gone up too high. I love Microsoft, but I don't know what it's doing right now at 375. It's just bouncing around. Maybe it's overcooked too. So what's the next catalyst for Uber? Well, I think you got to wait for earnings. So when I look over here, because the earnings are going to be great, and if they're not, then you're going to get quite a nice move down, giving you a better opportunity to buy it. Short flow, we're not too worried about it, but 3.72% is still relatively significant for this kind of a name, but you know, for an S&P 500 name. Their earnings are February 14th. So we've still got a little bit of ways to go on that. So I just look and say, what are the catalysts moving forward? Michael talked about tax loss and stuff like that and harvesting and possibly buying it back in. But this stock is at its highs, so that's not going to qualify for anything like that. I feel like a dip buy is what we wait for here in Uber. I like the name. I just want to wait for earnings. And like I said, I do feel like the new year could be great to start, but then we'll wait to see what happens on that first Fed interest rate cut, I guess, potentially comes through. So we'll wait to see what happens with Uber, but I think it's overbought, and there's no doubt that when that happens, you get Nomura coming in and downgrading. I don't know. I don't think like the downgrade is anything other than where it is on a price, a PE ratio.
Yeah, I think again, it's holding up quite well. Excuse me, in the pre-market off of that downgrade. But some key levels to note coming into again this consolidation. We know that Uber has been running up into its S&P 500 ad, which happened a few weeks ago. Right there, you can see it with the largest volume candle on the chart there. This is the day that it was added, Friday, December 15th. And since then, it's just been consolidating in and around the 61. I know the 61 was definitely interesting, 64 as well. But even with that downgrade, we're still pretty much diddling in the middle over here. But let's see if we can get down to the support. 64 all-time highs. That should be interesting as well. But coming in today, I have no idea if this is going to go one way or the other. But I think these levels are definitely defined. And if the price can get into some of these levels, I think we may have a trade on our hands.
There we go. All right, let's get into the overall market here. Just noting the market itself, not up a ton this week, but potentially set for a 9th straight positive week here for the first time since 2004.
Wow.
That's crazy. But anyways, there's an entire day to get to here, so let's jump into the futures.
Yeah, we were quite consolidative yesterday, Brendo. Maybe more of that today. 48.32 is where we closed yesterday on the ES. The overnight high, 48.41. The low, 48.28. We're at 48.30 right now. I'm going to say look for support at 48.25 and resistance at 48.5 if we make it up there, guys. Let's see.
Yeah, the slow grind continues to the upside here for the overall market. If you haven't done so, very easy. Watchlist.tradertv.live will get you there. Or you can scan that QR code, enter your email address, and then you get that for absolutely nothing. Free every single day from us. NVDA, top of the list this morning. Not a huge mover over the past couple of days, kind of chopping around here just below that $500 mark. But notable today because, hey, guess what? Surprise, surprise. They came up with a way to send chips to China once again.
Basically what they're doing here, Brendo, is going to be an adjusted version of one of their best gaming processors. They're terming this one the RTX 4090D. Gamers will know that the RTX line is their high-end GPUs for gaming. I mean, I said this to Sean off camera. I'm like, what stops people from going into another country, setting up a shell company, ordering a whole bunch of GPUs, and just bringing them back into China? I don't know if they're thinking about that or they're going to have controls, but hey, looking to circumvent.
So the clock starts now on how long it'll take for the U.S. government to respond to this one, because this is the third round as they go back and forth here, guys. But as we said, kind of choppy day yesterday. We're back inside the range here this morning.
Well, Sharif, I mean, generally speaking, companies like to abide by the law and will try not to circumvent things. But I agree with you. I mean, we had that story. I don't know if it was it Amgen or was it AMAT or somebody was trying to go through South Korea for some things about a month or so ago. So Sharif is right. You know, companies will find ways around it. I'm not upset about it, but I was saying to Sharif again, this is as like the U.S. has this huge advantage with NVIDIA and AMD and all these chips and AI and just data and processing and all this, and then they're just handing it over to China for free. So that's nice. You know, it's not like China would do that for us or any of these Chinese companies. You know, it's like TikTok just continues to push poison into everybody's face. What? My bad. Sharif is loving TikTok.
No, man.
What a surprise, Sharif.
Here's my thing about TikTok.
I mean, they've literally said that they give us all the crap, and they're giving all their kids all the smart, you know. Like I don't know. You guys tell me. I don't even own TikTok. But I mean, and then China won't, like, they won't even give us access to the data or anything like that. Like, anyways, this story might not be true. I mean, that things have changed. When President Trump was around, was trying to ban TikTok and so on and so forth. So, but I'm only simply talking about, and the example is that China for years and years and years have been building up their nuclear power plants and their systems and just way ahead of the game as far as energy and all that is concerned. You think they're giving anything to us? You know, but it doesn't matter how we go on. It's NVIDIA's story. This is technology. Right. Whether or not NVIDIA solves the problem, or, you know, Taiwan Semi or someone else comes out with something, it's all the same. And as a shareholder for NVIDIA, I really like the news. I mean, now you open up the border, you get to send these high-powered chips over into, you know, a huge economy. And, you know, technology is going to always win the day. And I think it's a punch long. I just want to wait for 5 bills. I mean, there's really, to me, I had NVIDIA on the board the last couple of days as a fade through this 504, because this actually happened up here. It's up here, though. But, you know, that was an actual play 2 weeks ago. And we broke through 500. And again, good news, right? We came from that day, like we came from 495, or even in the morning, even lower, it looks like. We came from like 492, broke through 500, completely stopped at 504, and then made a complete move back down. You know? What do you call a reversed V? Is this like an N? But anyways, all the way up and all the way back down into 490 again, okay? So right now you're kind of hovering around, and look what's happening. You're starting now at 497. Could we take 500? Of course, easily take 500. But then are we gonna get through this 504? Is this the catalyst that starts that move? I don't know. We're up 0.3%. The market's actually down right now. I like this break of 500, and I think I'm gonna take it. But I'm definitely not holding it to 504. I feel like 503 would be a great out, 502 would be a great out. Let's watch NVIDIA breaking through 500. On my sticky note, though, is not NVIDIA. And it's not NVIDIA for reasons like I just mentioned. We've already seen this move before. But why not just trade AMD? AMD yesterday made that 150.40 high, okay? I like the long here in AMD, and we talked about it. You can go over, look at it on the sticky note. You can go find it. But AMD yesterday breaks that level, and Obi, I really wish we could still. I don't know why. I'm gonna ask the tech team or development when they come back, because whatever happened to yesterday's marks on the chart? We shorted this 150. Like, look, it came in once, it came in twice, it came in 3 times, sold. We actually let this settle down. Right? We did not trade it here. We traded it, and I talked about this. First of all, if you're not joining on the recap show, you're missing a lot, because I went over this trade yesterday. I didn't short this until we got the all clear from this wick. So people are like, oh, what does that mean? And I discussed it yesterday. It's like, sure, you're getting a lot of big candles. Like, this was nice, a lot of tops there, right? It hits it. You have a wick top there, drop. You have a wick top there, drop. Wicking, down. Right? The only other time that happened, it kind of happens in here, but it doesn't have any significant volume behind it. So then I didn't trade it at all. We let it settle down, rips up, hits that 150 clean, breaks. These aren't 150 breaks. This is a 150 stop and a reject. It finally breaks 150, and guess what? Then we get the thing that we're looking for over and over again, a catalyst. We're looking for reasons to short this name. You're not going to short AMD up 3 or 4% in a market that's flat, especially if it's a chip name. I don't know why I'm talking like this. But this 150 hit with a wick top on a 1-minute chart and with significant volume. That's the play that you're looking for. And then it was never tested again. Just came back down right off there, hits that top and fade. So I actually started building a short right in here. Obi? because we had that top. I felt like 30 to 40 cents worth of risk was well worth it for AMD. We've just come $4. So if you have that retracement play back in, and look, we're cooking on that. It drops all the way into VWAP. What else as a trader are you looking for? So today, we closed there with a big buy at the end of the day. We closed at 148, 149. And now today we're higher than that. And I believe we're gonna test that 150.40. And if we do, I wanna play the break long. So let's see. If we break long 150.40, Obi, here we go. So as my, hey, what's up, Kat? Hola. You know, as a trader that's learning, as you are,
Yes.
If we take that 150.40 break long, where is our stop going to be?
Depends on how you want to take a look at it, but if you're risking 40 pennies back down to the
Did you say 150?
Yes. I would give it at least that much, at least.
Yeah. So we like trades that have easy ins and easy outs and things that we can make sense of. So right there, we break through 150. That's a good catalyst. That's a key price level. Then we go up to that top that we talked about of 150.40. Right. If we break that, we go long. We play the momentum long. And then we give ourselves 40 cents back through 150. Now, whether or not you give it to 140, 980, depending on your share size, how much you want to respect that 150. But I think that trade actually pans out pretty good. But I'm here to tell everybody that there might be a little bit less volume on a day like today. There may be champagne being popped a little early today. There may be traders that may not even want to trade today. You got to be careful with volume. You want to do it with volume as well. So that's my little take there on NVIDIA. What about yours?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was a solid analysis of the AMD there. I really like that kind of displaying the patience you really need to catch the backside of the move again with volume confirmation. So.
You're a backside kind of guy.
Oh yeah. You know, I love the backside. So, but yeah, that 150.40.
Just for trading. I don't know why does everyone get so excited over there? Easy, Sharif. Again.
Diversify. But okay, so that 150.40, I do also have it on my sticky notes, so I will be watching out for that. But yeah, that NVIDIA through that 500 could definitely give us that move through that 150 on AMD as well. Again, NVIDIA being a chip leader, and again, yeah, the GTX 4090D gaming chips there being released in China. That'll be interesting. But I like this build up as well that we've been having over the past couple of weeks, kind of building into that 500. But overall, we have been ranging pretty much sideways in a range over 400 and 500 kind of being the highs there. But this build up over the past few weeks, just going into that 500, is definitely a little distinct. Every time we've come into that 500, we have sold off, but higher lows and higher highs as well, building up into all-time highs as 520s on NVIDIA. So I think that'll be a decent look. A lot of sympathy plays potential for the chips there today. I'm also looking at Intel. We know Intel has been quite strong over the past few weeks, but not really showing the same kind of oomph that NVIDIA or AMD or even ARM as of late. We'll be talking about that soon enough, but Intel kind of not looking the same. So a few chip names on watch today, but that NVIDIA 500 definitely interesting.
All right, let's go on to Google here. Kind of an interesting note this morning. Not a lot to look at as far as price movement so far today, but 3 days in a row potentially red. As I was mentioning before, we're still on track for a positive week, even with, I mean, it's worth noting, like some of these tech names really haven't done a heck of a lot so far this week. So the market still showing underlying strength here. Yeah, $5 billion they're going to pay in this. It's essentially they were tracking what people were doing online. $5 billion's not nothing, but it's Google, so maybe just the cost of doing business.
Yeah, well, it's interesting here. It's alleged to have begun June 1st, 2016, and then the actual lawsuit was filed in 2020. The allegations specifically are that Google Analytics, its cookies and its apps let Alphabet track their activity even when they set Google Chrome browser to incognito mode. A lot of us know that as the private browsing mode. $5 billion is sought here, Brendo. They didn't really disclose much else in terms of details of the settlement, but yeah kind of not good.
Yeah, it was interesting to note they went after the company on wiretap or wiretapping allegations. Like that was what they used to actually file this lawsuit. But yeah, they end up settling here, guys. But Google on a bit of a pullback, it's worth noting here, coming into some interesting levels on the daily chart.
Again, the thing about all this, and we're going to talk tonight on the podcast. Make sure you join us tomorrow morning. We had a great reception of last week's podcast, and we're doing another one tonight, me and Brendo. So, and it reminds me of that AI talk there, where Microsoft and ChatGPT and all that stuff were scraping different news sources, and then not really giving them credit for it, and building their chatbot, and then being threatened to get sued over this. We had notes here in our watch list that potentially the damages that they were looking for were in and around $5 billion. That's not that much money. It sounds ridiculous to say that, but how much cash and cash equivalents do you think Google has on its books? It's 120 billion.
Billions, yeah.
Yeah, 120 billion.
Wow, okay.
So 5 billion to sort of let this thing go away, and that's an amazing number. It's nowhere even close to that. Even if that's the worst case scenario, I still just take that hit. I mean, these guys are cash generating machines. The fact
That's
that
like a...
Yeah, it's a dirt on your shoulder type of thing, right? So anyways, I'm not, for me, and you can see it's not like I'm speaking rocket science here, that Google's not moving. So it's like, if it's not moving and this thing is settled, there you go, man. It's just like, it's another win for big tech. Again, if they can just solve everything with cash, it's like if Microsoft has to give a little bit of a drip payment into New York Times so they can scrape their stuff, I mean, fine. The amount of money that they're making on Copilot and all this stuff that's going to come from AI, it's ridiculous. So I just say stay long all these stocks. But look, another one that's at its highs, not looking like Tesla, another great stock that's performing quite well. We just had a little bit of a move down. So you see, with lack of volume, Google's done 63,000 shares today. So I was just saying that Google was up, and then right there on one print, it is now down. So, you're hovering around this 140. It's going to be a key level. You could just look here at the 20-minute chart to see about Google. Yesterday, we've been holding this 139, 140 area. So if you like the stock, I think you just go in and buy it. Yesterday was relatively uneventful, except for, major liquidity moments like the open, where we tanked down, made that move right back up, kind of hovered around all afternoon, and then started to make the move back in. And then now, look at this. You're right back into that 139 and change again. So let's just see what happens with Google here. I feel like it's going to be weak again today. Yesterday, obviously, this would have been a weak name. Opening up at 141, closing the day down at 140. So again, even though it had this whole movement, it only closes $1. So I like Google here. It's just, I feel like we got to wait for a short, somewhere around, even in here, 140.50. It's so hard, Obi, right now, and everybody out there, to be able to call a direction in this market. The NASDAQ is completely flat. We're basically at 17.1, which was so key yesterday. That's why I want to talk about ARM as well. Yeah. Talk about names. We don't have ARM on the list there, but talk about names that have been strong. ARM has been on fire, man. ARM up to $78, $79, $80. It's an absolute monster. That thing was $50 a couple weeks ago. Plus, we have the crypto names. So I'm not sure we'll be in Google too much today, long story short.
Yeah, I like that. I'm just looking at the weekly here on Google, and strong, interesting kind of base formed at the 90s earlier this year, kind of end of previous year as well, and we've only been running up and about to end the year on a bit of a red week here. But yeah, I like that 40 level as well. Why is that? There's a little bit of structure here from September and November, marking these highs in and around that 140 level. So coming into the week here, you can see how it's interacted with that 140. A little bit of an over/under. We do attempt to break it quite a few times, but we've only gotten about 3 points, roughly, not even 42.72 or 68 being the highs there, and we sold back off into that 140. So that 140 definitely a little interesting area to me. You can see that it's a potential for support turned or resistance turned support down here in the 138 halves and the 139 halves as well. well. So building kind of back into that 140, a little bit of a sideways day yesterday as well. I'm curious to know what we do with that 140 today, but definitely an interesting move here on Google, not only over the past few weeks, but all year.
All right, we were just talking about crypto here. Bitcoin not really doing a heck of a lot, but I'm just noting, like, if you zoom out on the daily chart, yes, this is a massively huge range from 55,000, even call it, up here to 25,000 or 20,000 even at the bottom. You know, we're starting to get into that kind of back and forth. Who knows what's going to happen once we get back into 50, 51, 52, 53. But we're starting to get into that kind of back and forth price action on a higher time frame. So will it be the ETFs that solve this equation or not remains to be seen. But interesting look here today.
Yeah, well, Kevin O'Leary doesn't think the spot ETF is going to get approved anyway by Gary Gensler, saying it's going to kick it down to his successor. We'll see if that happens or not. Catch that interview yesterday. Look, Mara had a bad day yesterday after having several great days. It was down high single digits. It was kind of diverging from its trading patterns with Coin. Coin was a little bit of flat. Today, another crypto headline, specifically with Hut 8. You can recall Celsius, the defunct crypto exchange, or it wasn't an exchange, I think it was a mining company. Essentially, the bankruptcy proceedings there are assigning Hut 8 to take over its Texas facility and several others. So Hut 8 plans to provide the transfer of the Celsius network mining operations to a newly created company called Mining Co., with a Hut 8 managing all those operations. So headline for Hut 8, Brendo.
Yeah, a little bit more volume on that one. I was just going through a few other ones. Yeah, I guess Mara is a little bit higher than RIOT, down day yesterday, but trying to bounce here. Looks pretty good, guys.
All right. We have Hut, so I have Hut 8 on here, and this is a name that I wasn't sure, Brendan, are you still in this name? Because I know I cleaned out of it. Negative, yeah, see, shoot. All right, so again, this has been a good name. It's just, I got out on this little swoop up right there, and then all of a sudden it's like, but you know what? I don't really, some of these mining companies, I just can't really wrap my head around why they just go up so much when Bitcoin just starts to go. I mean, I get it. I don't get it. So I don't know. We're just going to play the momentum here on Hut 8. And I mean, that was a good story. It's on the sticky note. And what I was looking at was just a 17 break here. So let's go over. It just looks like right here, we had a little bit of consolidation in and around 17. That's where we started yesterday, made a move down into 16 bucks. But right now on that news with Celsius, and now they're going to be able to take over the mining operations. I like it. I think it's, if Hut 8 and mining is something, then this is something good, right? Now they're able to mine a little bit more, take over Celsius's operations. So maybe this is the play. We've seen Mara go absolutely crazy over the last couple of days. And I think Hut 8 can do it as well. There's a 15% short float on this name. I really like a 17 break. And then the thing is that you have protection down here at 1580, 1575, 16 in that area. So I think a 17 break, you let it sort of work its way back up to the upside. We'll see where VWAP is and everything when that sort of settles down. But again, 250,000 shares isn't horrible. Looks like it's trying to take VWAP out right now. So if we take a 17 break, looks like VWAP will be around 1660. 40 cents worth of risk to me is well worth it on Hut 8. So for me, I like this name. And yeah, that's something positive there on Hut 8. Coinbase has had some crazy moves as well over the last little while. For this name, I feel like the best thing to do would be let it make the moves and then figure out, you know, where the top is. Yesterday, it really bounced off VWAP. I'm just noticing this right now on Coinbase. But look how violent this name was yesterday. You know, from 182 down to 177, straight up to 185, then back down, back up to 186, down to 181, 187. Like, you had multiple $5 moves in this name yesterday. So if you're going to look for an actionable trade today, probably the crypto space is where it's at. What about a 188 break long on Coinbase? I mean, how good does that look right now? I mean, even on a daily chart, I had Coinbase marked at 180 to go long and was too scared to take it. That's now $8 in the money, and you're starting to take out these highs again. The high of Coinbase is 420. 380 is the highest close. We still have a ways to go back to the upside. It's just, I don't know. Do you want to dance with that 188? I mean, I prefer Hut 8. We'll see what happens here today, but crypto definitely has to be on your mind.
Yeah, I think with the way that Bitcoin has been moving around and setting up, crypto names definitely in play. And again, we talk about kind of that quadunk that happened early on in December 10th here. You had that strong dip down in the 40s, and every dip kind of getting bought back up. So yeah, definitely coin on a runner there. And I'm watching Mara and Riot as well. Mara all the way up to 30 there. So I did take my eyes off of it for a couple of days, and it seems like that might have not been the best decision there, as last time I was looking at it, Mara was in the 20s, 25s, and it seems like on Wednesday we did kind of pull back up in towards those 30s, 32s, and pulling back down into the 28s. But the overall trend very similar to that of Bitcoin and coin and a lot of these crypto names. They're catching a slight bid on a longer time frame chart. You can see that over the past month or so, since earnings, we kind of consolidated and held this trend, and we keep buying up these dips. So I think it's going to be interesting going into the new year to continue to see if Bitcoin and its I guess I was going to say constituents, its sympathy players there, the miners and other related equities, kind of follow in step with Bitcoin building up into that 45,000 mark. So definitely in play on a bigger time frame picture over the past few weeks. Let's see how we close on the year on some of these crypto names.
All right, a few people mentioning this SXTC still, 183%, bit of a rejection there at 6. Back downside, there's not much on this. 450,000 share float. That's pretty much all you need to know on SXTC. It's traded its entire float 21 times already today, so crazy move, almost 200% to the upside. Yeah, let's talk about Uber here, back to the upside, as we saw one of the best stocks in the S&P 500 to date. To end the year, a bit of a pullback over the past couple of days here for Uber as well. As we said, I mean, it's been kind of chopping around in a range since it went into the S&P 500. Yeah. Not a heck of a lot to look at.
Well, typically we, in that case, you got to sell the news event. But look, Uber's still fundamentally sound, profitable, 2 straight quarters now. We're looking at a third, despite the fact that Uber Freight has been lagging. The other parts of Uber have been really picking up the pace for there. So the downgrade comes vis-a-vis Nomura, downgrading it from buy to neutral and decreasing, or actually increasing, the price target, Brendo, here from 59 to 62. I just love when they do that. Also a comment on Lyft as well, from $11.70 to 13, also downgrading that from buy to neutral.
Yeah, kind of a wash. I mean, we're there, so they're just adjusting their own, kind of targets as far as what's happening with the price action. But yeah, not a heck of a lot to do the past couple of days here, guys, for Uber.
No, I mean, we've talked a little bit about Uber. I just want to talk quickly. We just had the imbalances come out, and we had Fisker with a buy. I'm buying Fisker at 71. So if we break through 71, we will buy some Fisker right there. I don't know if we talked about that enough earlier. It's not on the board, but Fisker with better deliveries. We talked about it earlier on in the day. Bets, I mean, now is breaking through 1 cent, so that trade may be over with. You might want to short bets against that 1 cent. I don't know. That's just a name that you guys have been trading it. So those of you trading that would know. And here's Uber. So Uber has made its way on, first of all, Google with a sell, but although it's going up right now, which is a little strange. So that's something interesting. But it's Uber right now with the sell. So since we're going to talk about it, we only have 2 minutes to go, so we're not going to spend too much time on this. We do got to go over to Baidu. But I just think it's a sell the news thing where, we're selling the news of them getting into the S&P 500, which is old news now. But I just feel like that run up was good. I still like Uber. I just feel like it will fade out a little bit here. It's down 1.4%. Play the relative strength versus weakness. This one's weak. So if you're looking for shorts, I feel like Uber is going to be the play on a short. And then to be more specific on a price, I mean, I would love to get 63s. And I think that's where we got to wait. So a little bit of a bump up here for Uber. A downgrade, it shouldn't be higher than it was yesterday. So I feel like 63 short on Uber. I'm going to put the order in right now. Anything quickly?
I think I already covered Uber earlier on today, that 61 to 64. I think that's all I got for Uber. All
right, let's go over quickly and talk about Bert and Ernie quickly.
Bert and Ernie specifically, but I'm sure Bert is using Ernie by now. 100 million. There's Baidu. A couple days in a row to the upside here for Baidu on the daily chart. Yeah, they finally get to that 100 million mark for Ernie, their OpenAI or ChatGPT-like large language model over for Baidu.
Yeah, better look from the initial start that they had there when they were showing us the video of the demonstration of Ernie. Look, it looks good. 100 million users said, as Brendo said, charging about $8 a month. Compare that to ChatGPT 4, which is charging about $20 a month. You know, there are other AI large language models in China, but most of them are business related. So Alibaba and Tencent have their own, but they're more B2B than B2C. So we'll have to see how this one works out. Good luck for Baidu.
Yeah, less than a minute here, guys. Nice gap. 2 days in a row here for Baidu.
Yeah, some of these Chinese names finally starting to get going. I like the FXI. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to start to buy some Chinese names, and I don't know when that point is, but I think it might be now. It may be into the new year, especially if you're trying to find some relative weakness, something that's been underperforming. Look at the Chinese names, and Baidu's been strong. Oh, crap, the countdown's already on. With only 5 seconds now before the market opens. We will be a little bit late. Let's go over to Adara. We are now open. So let's go. Thank you, Miss Adara. All right. Yeah, so I do like some Chinese names. We did get long Fisker there, 171, as it does break to start the day. But I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm bidding 155. If it goes, it goes. I do want to watch out for AMD and watch out for the NASDAQ right now. AMD was a trade that I was looking at 150.40 on the break long. So we want to make sure that we're on that one. HUT 8. Do I have the breaker 19? No, I do not. So I got to get that order in as well in case HUT 8, well, it's going to the downside, but I'm looking at a 17 break if that does come through for HUT 8. And then let's just check out a name that we didn't cover at all, really, and that was ARM. I mean, ARM's going to continue to be strong here again today, it looks like, up that 1%. Let's see what happens with ARM right now at VWAP at 78.50. Wouldn't mind a little bit of a dip buy into 78, but again, spread a little too juicy right now for ARM. You guys let us know if there's anything popping off now, but I'm looking at Google back down into 139. We got that love down there, but now it's ripping to the high side goes Google right now.
Yeah, so again, I'm gonna be a little bit patient here. I did get a little involved at this weekly support here on Amazon, and I'm waiting for some of the other names to kind of come into play. I have ARM, Intel, and AMD as well. I'm gonna stay a little bit patient here. I've mentioned this a few times. I tend to do a little bit better there if I do kind of wait for that structure to form, or play off of previous structures that have been formed. So Google holding that 140, I like that. 17.1 is going to be interesting for me on the NQ today.
Yeah,
that 153 has been a little bit of a weekly support on Amazon, and all we do, we come in and we can't even print below the 90s there underneath the 150. And Sean's saying, here comes AMD. What's going on over there?
Yeah, no, just AMD taking out 150. Here we go. This is going to be my first official trade. It looks like we are going to punch this long at 150.40, and it's coming in like gangbusters right now, man. I mean, AMD was just down at, we were looking at it and I was like, oh, now we're down at 149, but that's going to be, okay, here we go. That's going to be a dangerous spot right there for AMD. Okay, now we're starting to blast upside a little bit. Let's take something out, as we do have a bigger position, obviously, on this name, because we like it, and it was one of the names that we had thought about. But this happened to be on Microsoft yesterday. It was just yesterday, market, that we punched the top in a name that we liked and then lost the most amount of money all day on that name. So right now, here we go. Let's see if we can get something out. I literally got out of like 5% there on the upside, but we're fading right back in again. And we talked about where this trade need to go, right? So 149, if we fade back in, we're going to have to get out of this one, as right now it's not working out the greatest, but we're still long, and we're going to see if we can get it and not lose a whole shit ton of money on this name. But right now we're long, but it doesn't look like it's working out. Let's let it settle down. My out is just shy, here we come, of 150. So it looks like we're going to get stopped out of this trade here on AMD. Looks like that top was the fade again, Obi. There it goes. Shit, that sucks. That's too bad. Again, we played a good name there on AMD. It just did not work out again. That's back-to-back days. We took breakouts off the open on a name that I thought was strong that turns out not to be. So we took the shot. We got one little stupid out up there, and after that, man, not much else. So that kind of sucks right there for me on AMD, but I don't think the trade is done. Let's just let this settle down. We still have 75% of it right now on AMD, maybe 149.50. We just touched down at 149.60 there.
Yeah, nice.
not
Again,
nice,
it's
but,
it was worth an attempt, right? So
yeah, I think so. I mean, but
that's why I'm saying nice. You took the shot that you said you were going to take. It didn't work out. That's perfectly fine. We move on to the next trade there.
Yuck.
And that 17th thou kind of coming in as well. I get stopped out after kind of adding on to a little bit of that weekly support area there. So I'll let this work out there. Amazon not really working. Again, it was just a cheeky idea. Getting long above a weekly support area here that it's kind of been showing us in and around these 70s as well, right? So I'll take a couple tries at this and see how it holds. While again, to reiterate, I am waiting for kind of structure to form there. I'm watching ARM. ARM yesterday here, 77 was a little bit interesting. Kind of the strong drive through that 75 gave us a consolidation above that 77. Yeah, I was trying to short into that into 77, kind of looking for that VWAP retracement, but down into 76. As that never really came, and we're headed right back down into that 77. So I'm curious to know whether or not we hold that 77 as well as we did yesterday here on ARM. But I'll stay a little bit more patient there, kind of waiting for that structure to form even more. AMD kind of holding in and around that 150. Again, that strong drive yesterday, not really exhibiting the same kind of behavior today, but
Yeah, you're right about that.
we're only 5 minutes into the trading day, right? So I think giving it some more time to kind of let it settle in. Again, last day of the trading day. It's a Friday. I'm personally expecting it to be slow, and I'm sure others are as well. And some of these tickers are showing that, yeah, we haven't really gone anywhere too far off of these opening ranges here. I'm also watching Intel, of course. Intel, that $50 mark. $50. Okay, so that $50 mark of weekly support does hold right off the open. So a little bit of distinct and different behavior happening here on Intel as well relative to yesterday. And yeah, that 150.20 was yesterday's low as well. I think 150.17, you can see that Wednesday, Thursday, and I guess today as well, a little bit in the pre-market, this level holding as support. And we're pretty much in a range between this 50 and some change into the 51. So again, I'll stay patient, but let me know what you guys are trading in the chat there. We can take a look at some of those names as well.
we do have a Dara quickly.
XPeng moving to the high side, up over 3.5%. It announced this morning that it's expanded its driver assistance system in 27 more cities in China. So keep an eye out for XPEV, guys.
All right. Thank you, Adara, for that news. And thank you, Obi, for all of that. Like, as if, like, now we're 70 cents in the money on this stupid stock. Like, so frustrating. So what have I learned? That's honestly, okay, first of all, new position right now. We're not really into Fisker. We're going to wait for that one. It's Uber that we just took a little bit on right now. We're going to wait to see what does happen now with Uber moving forward. So we just took a little bit out there. We're short only at 85. We got a 77 there on that dip. The 50 period, or sorry, the 200 period moving average is 65. So I feel like that should be reasonable to put an order somewhere in and around there. But here we go, man. AMD, like this name, you just mentioned it being relatively strong, or sorry, weak into the open and give it some time. Well, I think that's what I'm trying to do right now, but it is just like pretty wild back and forth. Like we got out there at 149.50, and then look at this. Like now what the hell is it doing? This name is like moving dollar at a time for really a reason that I can't find right now. Just very, very volatile off the open. Like we just went down to 149 flat and then just bought right back up through that level again. So yeah, let's buy some of these dips and see if 149 is exactly the thing to do. So we'll have to watch out for that. All right, what else is moving around? Like you said, Uber long, someone likes? Okay, I don't mind the Uber long. I mean, our out on Uber was going to be here. Let me talk about it. We're only out of 10%, or no, 15% of Uber. Where's going to be the out if we're wrong on Uber? Well, we just tagged 63, so I feel like that's a good out. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get out if this breaks through 63 and take about a 15-cent hit, which is why my next, we actually got some fills down there in the 60s. Okay, I was going to say, that's why I'm looking to get out in the 60s. So let's see if that can be the case there for Uber. Fisker coming right back to life right now. Look at that. Why, Sean? Why are we not long 63s there on Fisker? Oh man, that's a couple days in a row that we were looking at the wrong sort of name. You know, my bad on that one. We should have been looking straight in the face of Fisker down there at the 200 period, or sorry, yeah, the 200 period moving average on a 1 minute chart. Okay, there goes AMD again, man. I'm going to put an offer this time at like 150.20 or so. See if we can make a little bit of money back on this one if we blast through 150. I'm also trying to buy lower here on AMD just against that 149, Obi. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so I think that Google is kind of showing itself that 140. Again, I do have it written down as a bit of a level there, and we're pretty much chopping and turning in and around that. 17.1 is right there. We've barely gone anywhere on the NQ in terms of this opening range. We're pretty much trading in and around the open, and Amazon's still holding on onto this 153 area. Again, it's been a little bit of a weekly support or a support area. If you look a little left on the chart, there goes the ES kind of pumping up to the upside there. I'm curious to know what we do with this 17.1. Again, I've been speaking about this before. I've been documenting and keeping track and learning a lot from what we're doing in and around the 17th thou test on the NQ. Again, I've said this before, a little bit of interesting price action every about 100 points, but I have no idea what it kind of, if it even has any sort of like distinct behavior in and around every 1,000 points. But as of late, the chop and churn and the volatility and a lot of, again, yeah, just the chop around the area is very interesting, as a lot of the other tickers, you can see that consolidations happen a lot more on some of these constituents, and that's what I've noticed there. You can tell NVIDIA consolidating in and around that 500, Amazon consolidating above this 150, and again that 260 on Tesla as well. Apple 195, 193s very interesting as well. Kind of sideways consolidation at 375 on Softy, still kind of an interesting place to interact with over the past few weeks. So yeah, I guess that's kind of the observation I've had in terms of what the 17th thou test and the churn has brought along with the NQ and relative to its constituents. But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting few weeks going into the end of the year there, Sean. So just a few observations that I've made, but taking a quick check of the market pulse, as that 153 base again on weekly. Buyers were here on the week over the past few days, and it seems like they're showing up again. So just a simple idea there, and it seems to be working out all right. And Softy kind of raging to the upside, made is this new highs on the week? No, Tuesday we had higher highs on Tuesday, 376.90 being the high on Softy. So let's take a quick look so I can show you guys what I'm talking about right here. So a nice little pop into some of those highs, and we come right back in, still holding some of these levels. But Apple with that 193.
I actually took the short on Apple.
Yeah, the one from off of yesterday's levels.
Do you like that?
Yeah, I mean, I like the
idea.
No,
I'm short at 193. I'm short at 193.55.
Okay, so pretty much right here.
Look at AMD. God,
these were decent sell areas from yesterday.
AMD is like, so there's two ways I could solve the problem. One is that we just don't take the breaks in the morning, but the breaks in the morning have been fine as of late, especially when I feel like we're trading the right momentum-based names. And I've already justified it with AMD. I thought AMD was right there. But the thing is that I hit it with too many shares. It's not even like it was that many shares, honestly. But that sucks. It's just, anyways, I could tell you whatever. It wasn't even that many shares. I had 500 shares. I bought it through 150. It went down $1 against me. I took the $500, and that was that, right? So unfortunately, that was a hit there on AMD. We did buy some back. Wow, now it's gonna go all the way up. It's all the way up. What's up, Adara?
Backed holdings here at BKKT. This is a crypto-related name, pulling back a little bit now, but still up about 15%. Keep an eye on this one, BKKT, guys.
Yeah, it's another crypto name there. Uber does take 63, so you guys are right about that one. Look at Fisker right now. Let's go. Again, another name, man. The #1 name here on the stick. You know, we've got it. It's Fisker, man. It's 10% in the money right now. Sorry, we're long at 171. It's 10 cents. It's about 7% in the money. There goes Fisker to the upside, man. And I'm actually waiting at Oh, I thought it was. I am waiting. Oh, I'm waiting at 84. Okay, so we just touched highs 82 well, we're at there right now. So let's see if we can get going there on Fisker. Good take on AMD again, as we made a little bit back. So we just made 80 cents back on that one. Did Mara just break 30? Give me a break. Why am I not in HUT yet? What is Mara doing? Okay, so watch out for Mara. Mara breaking 30 was something that I wanted to look at. I saw some people there like, watch Mara. But yeah, it's right here, $30. We're looking at that. And then the name that I wanted to look at was HUT. That's not there, but it's bouncing off of 1670. It's not like a great trade or anything by any stretch of the imagination, but Bitcoin is now above 43,000. So let's check out what Coinbase is doing actually. Okay, so Coinbase on the way down. So pretty choppy right now. I'm still looking at a 188 break possibly there on Coinbase. We did get more Apple shares. This is going to be a name that I have to let it go, like Frozen style on AMD, because like, oh man, for that to have been a hit, it kind of sucks right now.
A little bit choppy.
Yeah, just a little bit choppy, I guess, right? A good call on that one. Yeah, definitely missed opportunity there by not holding on to that long all the way. But like I said, just too many shares. Like you have 500 shares. Like if that breaks 149, it's still not even that big of a hit, but that's $800 straight off the open. It's kind of like we've made money. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Oh, we have a number. Let's go over to Adara.
Getting the Chicago PMI in here. Previous was 55.8, consensus 51, forecast 50. We're just waiting for it to populate here. We just got it, so 46.9. So this is lower than the forecast of 50 and lower than the previous of 55.8. Chicago PMI coming in at 46.9, guys.
Dude, I'm long AMD 149.30.
Oh, wow.
But the idea.
Okay, yeah, no, sorry, I didn't even see.
F you, AMD. No. But what I'm saying is I've already lost all the money on this trade. It's like it broke. Like you said, we were taking it to 150. I should have just punched out at 150. Instead, I waited for 159. Well, I did get some out there at 149.90. It wasn't the maximum hit, but still, like for AMD to now be ripping where it is. And again, it's like, we have two names on here, Fisker and AMD. Both are doing exactly the dance that we thought, and I'm red. It's like freaking ridiculous that that's there. Uber, again, look, takes out 63, makes that move up, now move down. The thing about it is the NASDAQ is right now just green and right at VWAP. So I'm wondering about a punch long now in some of these names. But, you know, really the only position that I have on of significant value. We have Fisker, that's fine. And AMD, we've been piecing it out. So I'm happy with the $1.70 in the money, but honestly, I'm not happy with the way I performed on that for sure. Here goes Apple. It's still under the 200 period. We've averaged it in. We've taken some outs right there. 193.80, a level there on Apple that I sort of have to watch out for, but I was watching out for 194. I know all this stuff happened early, and I'm going to watch out for that, but a breakthrough VWAP there at 194 is what's going to concern me the most, and that's where we'll get out. So I do want to average into some more shares here. I just want to make sure I am offering in 80s, yes. So if we do pop up, we do have that position for sure on that one. Thank you for the subscription, all-rounder, and everybody else. Thank you so much for watching the show and supporting us every single day, despite me punching long and now being huge in the money on AMD and not being up anything. Mullen up though, 15% again. Look at Mullen, man, nice move up. Again, I sometimes talk about these reverse splits don't work out well, but Mullen seems to be saying hold my beer to that as well. Good out for me at the top there. We got out at 150.75 on AMD, and I'm about to get out of all of this. I have to regroup and trade this a little bit better. It's only 948, so we'll figure that out. And it was a good number that just came through. Thanks to Adara for that one. And we're just going to watch out now where this market goes. The big position for me is trying to build into something on Apple.
Yeah, that AMD definitely like really volatile. Again, as expected, it's raging to the upside. 150, not really expecting it to be that clean there, and it's showing us exactly that, not clean at all. And that 151 comes in, 151.05 is being the high, and then we pull back all the way back down to 150 halves before reclaiming the 80s there. And the market as well, kind of chopping around in and around that 17.1 as well. Amazon is holding holding that 153 as of right now. We got back up to pre-market highs, and that's pretty decent there. Let's see how far we can get with that. 153 support, again, is the idea there. 151 potentially coming in here on AMD, but yeah, let's see what it does with this opening range high here. This is what I'm looking at right here. So we're holding above some of these levels here. 150 halves holding as of right now. Let's give it some room to work. Let's give it some time. But yeah, take a look at some of these levels from yesterday that we were also holding above. That 150.40 was yesterday's high, and we're just holding above that level right now, attempting to push into that 151 as well as the NQ. Kind of again, a little bit of a chop and churn, but you can see if you take a look at some of these 15-minute candles, we have been making higher highs and higher lows relative to kind of this flush in the pre-market we got coming into what is this 8:15ish a.m. there. So yeah, that 17.1, we're about to knock on the door of that. Let's see if 151 comes in. I'm looking at NVIDIA as well, Sean. Oh boy, did we miss that?
Oh boy.
499.98 is the high. So potential for that 500 to come in, and we talked about how the AMD 150 could be nice if NVIDIA also pushes through that 500. So 500 knocking on the door, only about 75 pennies away on NVIDIA for that, and AMD holding this 150.50 as well. I'm curious to know what ARM is up to. Let's take a quick look.
Yeah, I forgot about
77s, Sean. It's
Hold on, how was that level that you were talking about?
It's a bit of an
Look at
interesting level
Fisker.
from yesterday, I think.
All right, look. Yeah, no, ARM, you were talking to me about ARM earlier, even before we started the show, so that might be something you want to look at for sure. Okay, so the number, I mean, here, let's just go over this. Like we had Fisker 155 long, we took the 171s, we talked about that. Now Fisker's at 186, so that's 10+% now in the money, which is an absolutely great trade. And then AMD right now is at this level, but that was something to look at. We're still waiting for HUD 8, and then there's ARM by dips. So I just want to bring that up because we did talk about ARM earlier, but maybe not enough for that kind of a strength spot right there on ARM. So AMD is pulling back in. I want to give AMD one more shot. I will look at ARM, but AMD is the one that's falling here a little bit. That might be the time to go short now on AMD, but I'm not ready to do that. It would have been at 151 is probably where we should have done that. But for right now, I still think, honestly, just looking at this chart, we could actually take out 149 again. We haven't done it yet, but we could take this out. I mean, yesterday we had a nice move down on AMD, right? Basically sort of from these levels where we're at right now. Like, so we hit that, and then when we got down to 149, we kind of barcoded a little bit and then hit this down into these levels. So I'm just wondering if AMD really wants to get spicy and then go back into 148 and change. I'm probably gonna leave this one alone, especially if it doesn't, we're going to try 149, but let's just watch out for that 149. If that breaks, let's get out immediately and then see what happens down there. But I will try to catch a little bit of a falling knife, but not a dollar away from here is where we're looking at it. All right, so obviously as this market continues to go up, we're right at 17.1 right now. We've talked about this 17.1 a couple times. There's the bottom from the morning. We hit it. We ripped back up to the upside. Now we're right back at 17.1 and doing a dance, basically. Yesterday, we'll go to Adar in 1 second, but there's 17.1 coming into play. Yesterday, the highest we got was 17.150. So watch out, especially if we can hold this bid. There could be something there. 17.150 could be our next target. So 50 handles higher from here. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, this BGC group, ticker is BGC. This one's on the move. It actually just made new lifetime highs after adjusting its revenue outlook to be on the high end of the previous outlook and expecting stronger earnings and revenue growth coming into the next quarter, guys.
All right. So that's good. Apple coming up to the upside. We're going to work on some mic issues there. I was not clear on exactly that report, but 193.80 right now coming on Apple. This is where we try to get some short. I was actually waiting at 85, where the 50-period moving average is. We may have to change that a little bit. Let's take something now at 75, just in case. So there it is. We take a little bit more short there at 75. We're trying to go against this 194. And again, the actionable trade again, Apple, that's the NASDAQ, sorry. Apple here at 194. You know, it's been sort of the top spot there. That's 194.11. So that could be something to look at. I just want to get out if it breaks 194. VWAP is already out 93s, 193.93. So it would be above that. There is some wick highs here, but I'm just going to get out on a quick 194 break. But right now we're flat on the trade, so nothing to worry about on that one. As here comes AMD, man, kind of as we mentioned, could be a little bit of a fade play here on AMD. Just need to get a little bit lower. And then of course Uber right back sort of where we were short. We took the win, then took the hit. Uber's cup of coffee, but I still like the short in this name. I think just the market has to fade out a little bit. I may put on another try here on Uber against the high of 63 again. Well, we may have to wait for that 63.15. Let's just wait on all this. Really, a bigger position is happening right now in Apple against that level. So let's see if that works. Maybe Palantir, Alibaba. What about your Amazon today? Have you looked at that?
Yeah, it's working out. I kind of again I stopped out initially on the first try. I got in a little too early there, 153. I like the price, but again a little bit of a cheeky initial entry there. The 152.70 is kind of showing the bid a little bit more, and we do break through that 153.50, 153 halves as we're testing in and around this 17.1. We're right there again. So yeah, that 153 support weekly kind of over the past few days, it's shown itself, and it's showing up again today. So it did get a little bit long there, and it punched longer into the 153 break as well. So it's working out all right for now. Let's see if we can get to that 154 area, kind of the top of the range there. On again, if you look back all the way to last Thursday, we've pretty much been chopping and churning in and around this like 1 point range there on Amazon. So let's see if that range will come into fruition today. But again, I do have to kind of heed Neil's advice every now and then when he says, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And if the market is paying me, I should be taking some every now and then along the way there. But yeah, I do have a kind of a target at 154. Let's see how far we can get there. We are printing 153 halves off of a weekly support hold, but I do want to piece off a little bit here just to kind of lock in a little bit of the move there. So AMD holding that 150 as of right now, still giving it room to work. Like I said, we're consolidating and holding above yesterday's highs, and I want to give it that space to really kind of let it figure itself out. If we're going to continue on the day, we're going to be pushing through that 151, and if we're not, we push back through that 150 again as well. So I'll continue to watch this. I am kind of exercising that thesis using a few shares there in the market. 150 hold for a continuation long off of yesterday's strength. Again, not only yesterday's strength, AMD has been hella strong going into the end of the year, Sean. So looking like a little bit squeezy on the larger time frames AMD? As well. Yeah.
Yeah.
150.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look at me. It's right back upside. It's right at the level that we had talked about yesterday's high. So we're going to have to watch out for that. And by the way, man, like what a moonshot Fisker's been right now. Like, you know, we took that 1.7. This is in the pre-market, isn't it? Or right as the market opened? Yeah, 928. You know, we wanted that pre-market break. So again, kind of different strategies that I'm looking at over and over again here today. And that was, we had that Microsoft. That was yesterday, Microsoft. We had that move break high on AMD, and that was the level that we're at right now. And unfortunately, it tanked pretty aggressively there off the open and then made that nice move up. So we're gonna let that settle down. I'm short Amazon now, and it's not against your trade or anything. It's just at this level. And just like you mentioned, that maybe we could get a little bit of a dip here, and don't look said horse in the mouth. So we're gonna do the same thing on the short, man, and then we're starting to get a little bit out. So here comes the move in. It just bounced. I was actually bidding there. Oh, did I get that bid? I might have got it. I thought I was bidding 47. I was bidding 48, so we got it. Okay. So we get that 48, so that's only 7 cents, but the risk is to the high side right now. So if this breaks through 60, we're going to be out shortly after that. So let's see if Amazon wants to work down to the downside. We did talk about building a bigger position in Apple, and you can see that's trying to make moves, but not enough of anything now. We're 10 cents in the money. Let's just put a bid and take that at 53. So we do take a little bit of it out there. You can see we just put that bid and got filled. So now let's see what happens with the remainder of Apple. We still have the whole position on, but hey, if this market pulls back in, and again, we're dancing at that 17.1. So, all right, what do you guys want to look at right now? Noah says FLJ chart. So let's go over and have a quick look at that one. What is this anyways? Lee Group Limited? What are you even trading, Noah? Honestly, FLJ.
Lee Group?
Oh, it's one of these ones. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you about this. What's up with maybe Adara FLJ? I don't know. This is a nice mover. It looks like it was reverse split. Obviously, had that huge move to the upside, and now you want to go long reverse split names, man. Noah, honestly, that's going to be up to you. I feel like this is going to be a risk. If it's your largest position you've mentioned today, then I mean, you're not really caught yet. Yesterday's bottom, it looks like. Right there is right where we're at right now. That's 148. So I would say you kind of got to respect this 142. If you break below that, where we sort of bounced today, then I don't know where the next level of support is, right? I mean, you can go back a little bit even more than that into the last couple of days down here at like 120, 130. But if it's a big position for you, then you're in trouble now. So I would watch out for that breaking through 142. Thank you so much for the question. But honestly, I have way bigger fish to fry right now. Amazon and Apple are actually decent sized positions. So I need them to move and I need them to move down. So hopefully that will happen. Get down, and we'll be able to take a couple bids here, especially if we break VWAP. I think the futures will snap if we can break that VWAP. So here we go. Oh no. Please don't never let me say that again. It's not about Dak.
I was just about
I had Dak in fantasy, man. I mean, he's having the best year probably of his career, statistically wise. And so congratulations to Cowboys fans all around the world. All around the world. That reminds me of an Oasis song. I love Oasis. Do you like Oasis, Adara? Is that a boomer thing again? Oh, wait, Wonderwall?
I don't
How do you
know
guys not
who-
know? You don't know who Oasis?
Isn't that like it's like a little lagoon of water in the middle
No.
of the desert? No, not that one.
Good one. I like that.
Oasis.
It's a good one. I mean, it's a good reference for sure by you.
But yeah, okay. No, I don't really, I didn't really recognize that reference there, Sean. But maybe you can enlighten me later on with some of their music.
Well, they
there.
think that they're the best band in the world.
Okay.
But they haven't had an album in, I think, in like 15 years. So.
All right. That 17-1 kind of
Brothers
just topping and
Gallagher.
turning as of right now. What? Gallagher? Is that okay?
We'll talk about it.
Nice.
All right, we have Adara coming up in a couple seconds. So let's go over to the desk and find out what is it happening now?
So I have happening now. I also have the story with FLJ. So this was reported initially yesterday, but FLJ had completed a $108 million cash purchase of AlphaMine Technology. So they completed that acquisition and then terminated another acquisition they were supposed to do of Lian. So just some news there at FLJ. In terms of what's happening now, the SPY more or less flat, just slightly positive right now. We did also earlier get the Chicago PMIs lower than expected and the previous. So that's the main things happening in the market right now. A little bit slower as we ease into this final trading day of 2023. But we do have some individual stock movers to talk about, including XPeng. I mentioned this one earlier. This one up over 4% right now after expanding its driver assistance system into 27 more cities in China. We also have another Chinese ADR story here. Baidu, B-I-D-U, their chatbot Ernie now has surpassed 100 million users. So this is an OpenAI competitor, up 1.3% right now, guys. Last but not least, Lyft. This one down, tried to make a move to the upside, now back into the downside here, getting a downgrade from Nomura, but a price target increase. So Lyft, definitely an interesting one today as well. Brought to you by Surge Trader, where traders can get a funded trading account up to $1 million and keep up to 90% of the profits. The program has simple rules, no time limits. Just go to surgetrader.com/TTV and use the promo code TTV for 10% off.
All right, we were able to get some out in that Champagne Supernova that just happened on Amazon right now. We got a nice little bid there into the 30s, so that was a good one, man. Again, we only have a couple hundred shares. It's not like it's a huge position for us or anything like that, but again, would like to get it out for some profit as it's been a fun day here, just not early on for me. I mean, if I could sort of put that little flash like, you erase your memory from that first couple minutes there, I would do that.
Nebulizer.
Is that what it's called? Yeah. So nebulizer. So that's what I would like right now. But look at that. We did get out of Fisker. You got to get out when these things start to moon. So we still have some positions on. We still have 40% on in Fisker. It's still a good trade. I think I'm going to put another out here at 83 if we do spike back up. But I'm glad that we talked about it when it was up there to give people a good idea of some of the levels there. So there it goes, man. Your Amazon is working out. We will be flat on it because we got out there and just took some more positions out there as it breaks that high. So good job there on by that one, Obi. We should have just, I mean, we're fine. We're flat on it. We should have focused, well, we have been focusing on Apple. And we talked about how that was going to be a larger position for us, so it is. And then now, here comes Apple right back in again as the market is trying to get downside. I'm going to take one more shot here on Amazon against that 70 level, and then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But yeah, Apple kind of just cratered a little bit there on, like I thought, the futures breaking through would be something. The one thing I have to fix is what I'm doing again right now, and that is like buying, there we go, I'm going to try to get out at 37 if we can. There we go, we get it, is getting back into names that just aren't working and being stubborn about it. So like right now I'm being a little bit stubborn about Amazon right now by being back into the short. We've already lost once on it, so you know, maybe we shouldn't be back in it. It's just I thought with this futures coming back in like this, we would have, like I said, if the futures broke that VWAP, I thought we could crash in. But there's something pretty important that Michael Noss mentioned there today on the chat on the pod. Oh my God, what day is it? Mentioned earlier was, yeah, Friday, yeah, good. Mentioned earlier, and that was that if a stock is not participating in the rally or is not moving, and he was talking about Tesla and sort of the overextension of this market and that Tesla's not moving like the other big names. Maybe Tesla is not the long that we all thought. And we got to sort of think about that sometimes as we take our positions here as day traders as well. So yeah, let's just be careful with everything. I think we're good, but yeah, we need to be better, right? And so let's just continue with that theme here and try to make a little bit of decisions that matter. We just took out some more Amazon there at 150, and then here we go, nice little downside move for Apple. I believe we just got to fill in the 20s or so on that one. We got 31s on Apple. So far so good as we continue to watch out for that name. It's Apple, and for right now, it's the short that I have on. Amazon, we have the short, and then AMD still $1 in the money, waiting to see what happens. As it's kind of barcoding right now, do I use hotkeys? What's up to Todd Kill? Yes, I do. So all basically the whole keyboard for us is how we execute trades. So it's all the F keys you can completely, and it's Prosper Pro. So shout out to P Pro 8 and the proprietary. Jeez, that's loud in my ear. Oh my God. Hello? Hello? I hope that didn't blast everybody else's ear either, but I feel like that was louder than normal right there. That worked, Fabian. There's no doubt about that. But now I've lost my train of thought. But what was it? I don't know.
Apple? You were talking about Apple?
I don't know, an apple a day. Oh, well, here comes Apple back in right now. No, yeah, I mean, I think you just stick with what's been working for everybody. Oh, it was that Michael Noss thought. It was just that if it's not working out for you, like this Amazon, like Apple now just moved 20 cents down on really on nothing. You know, meanwhile, Amazon gets that break of VWAP and the move down, and Amazon actually goes up. Sure, we got it nice out there at the 200 period. We probably should have got it all out there before getting stopped out. But anyways, it is what it is as this market continues to be a tricky one today. I feel like anyways, bouncing around, we're flat again. This reminds me of yesterday, Obi, where we just kind of hung around all day and had to be patient and wait for specific moves. So let's just do that.
It's like you know that meme. It's like, oh, what are you doing? You know, just hanging around. It's kind of like that happening. And we're just hanging around in and around that 17-1. So
all right.
Yeah, bit of a chop and churn across the board here. Again, Apple to the downside, Softy to the upside, Alpha to the upside, NVIDIA kind of just underneath that 500 still. Amazon trying to push for that 154, kind of staying within that weekly range, right? And here comes AMD kind of pushing back up. Let's see how far we can get into that 151. But that 150 holding pretty nicely. VWAP holding nicely as well. Again, that 17.1 kind of building. ES not really doing too much. We did kind of pull back up and revert about 50%. Oh, almost about 50% 50% of the move that we've had since, what is this, 3 a.m. here, 2:30-ish, give or take an hour, because I think we are, these charts are an hour behind on the CME.
Yep.
Yeah, right, so yeah, so
Well, the
that's,
charts are, yeah, okay.
yeah, so this would be like, if it says 2:30 here, it'd be 3:30 our time.
Right.
But yeah, so ES kind of doing that about a 50% reversion there. Amazon pushing up into the 154. I'm still patiently waiting. Again, like I said, I want to wait for structure to kind of come in and build. And the only thing I really saw that was holding some sort of structure was the Amazon weekly kind of, or like that consolidation low from last Thursday. You can see if you pull up the chart, we've been kind of consolidating and holding in and around that 153 area. And we're catching a slow and steady, grindy bid back to the top of the range. And again, this is the thing, VIX is low, volatility is low. I don't want to expect too much too fast, but if we're going to chop and grind and still kind of hit key levels and hit the ranges, I'll stay a little bit. I think I have to change my style up a little bit and be a little bit more patient there, and that's kind of what I've been doing here with both AMD and Amazon. Amazon now pushing into the 80s. They're only about 20 pennies away from 154 as we hold above that 17.1. So and Softy as well, Sean, kind of breaking. Softy just broke week highs. So now we got new highs on the week on Softy, pushing 377s as Apple can't even find a base here. That 193 still kind of further away to the downside there. But yeah, you know what? With this 154 coming in, I got to watch this tape a little bit closer to see what we do in and around the top of the range here. But Softy breaking through week highs, I definitely like that look. Let's see if some of these other constituents follow in step as the NQ looks like, excuse me, it's holding above 17.1.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, it's great. It's great for everybody. It just sucks because that's twice in a row we had those break longs, both in AMD today and then Microsoft yesterday, and both are great. And I didn't make money on either of them. So Microsoft yesterday was that 376 break. We definitely liked that trade yesterday, and I guess today, you know, that should have been bought again. Like there's 376. You know, that was sort of the level there in the pre-market. So yeah, we could have found our, you know, like you mentioned there, Obi, we could have found our way into that trade, I feel like, and we didn't. So that's definitely a mistake for me on that. I'm going to short Amazon, Obi, and like I said one more time, I mean, you're already winning, and I'm gonna say congratulations, man. Obi, geez, let's hit this one more time.
Yeah, almost, you might be close to hitting that other key as well. We'll see how far it can
Oh, I like that, Obi. Let's keep hitting that over and over again if we can. That, of course, you mean the Dollar Club key, and I like that key. That is everybody's favorite key, and it should be yours too, Obi. And I'm just glad that you are becoming one. You know, that's what I'm all about right now. I could almost, honestly, I mean, I shouldn't say I could care less if I lose. I mean, I like to win. But, you know, I'm really happy that you're putting out that on there. And it goes with what we talked about before, right? You and I said, you got to be confident in the trades that you like, and you're holding this one, which is absolutely fantastic. And I hope it's because, you know, you're confident with some of the research that you've done and some of the trading that you've experienced here on the floor, right? So, I mean,
of course.
That's what it's all about. I'm just glad that you're here with us today, and of course, rocking and rolling with us and everybody here. And please, guys, hit the like and the subscribe. If not for Obi, definitely don't do it for me, but do it for Kat.
Hola, like and subscribe today.
All right.
All right.
Oh, Sharif just got mad. He said you got to hit his. Do you see his on there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, subscribe, and share the show that takes you into the heart of the
sorry,
market
dude.
every day.
We gotta fill the quota, right?
That's the thing. So I think what we need to do in the new year is we need to readjust the contract.
Yeah. I think
that it doesn't say. I mean, if he doesn't, he really wanted it early, but then wait a minute, hit that again. I want to see if he's wearing the beard.
Like, subscribe.
It
and
is
share
beard.
the
Oh,
show
yeah,
that
okay,
takes you
okay,
into the heart of
okay.
the market.
The beard is a yes.
I don't know why he doesn't.
Did you catch
like that.
did you catch the shirt there?
I didn't. Let's see the shirt one more time.
Like, subscribe, and share
I
the
like
show
that
that
shirt.
takes you into the heart of the market every day.
All right.
Bang, bang, bang. So sometimes it's just like we're traders, right? You see the setup, and you just gotta keep hitting it.
Obi is
until
just
it
on
stops
fire
working.
today, boy. Obi in the building once again. All right, let's just, Obi, man, congratulations on the Amazon. We talked about that a little bit. I'll pat myself on the back with Apple because I tend to do that a lot. And there's the move back down in, right? We took it off the 200. I mean, now we're cashing out. And again, like I don't apologize for that AMD trade. I mean, it's in the money right now, or well, it's close enough to in the money. But I told you guys also, and this is what I'm saying about being happy for Obi and just what he's been able to do. It's because like when you're sitting here trading, you know, and this is what I try to do, and I hope I do a good job of it. It's like explaining to you, when we were in Apple, I was like, this is the trade that I really like. Like, you know, what I'm down on Amazon is like a drop. What I'm down on AMD is serious. And then what we're trying to make here on Apple, right? So you got to sort of like the trades that you like and play them appropriately. So right now, like even on Fisker, like it just bumped up again and we just got another piece out there. So although we're still in this, and this is what I'm leading towards now, is like, even though your trades are working out for you, you still have to monitor them and still believe in them. And then when something changes is when you need to change and sort of flip up your game plan on said stock, right? So we only have 30% left of Fisker. We got a nice out right there, but I feel like maybe it's getting exhausted. Less volume coming in right now, bouncing a couple times off VWAP. So when we got that little bump back up, we took a piece out. So you can sort of rest on your laurels, but you can't be convinced that the position you have is exactly the right one. And that's what fooled me here on AMD. And the same thing caught me yesterday on Microsoft, as a lot of you were watching me trade that name. And we got the same kind of thing where yesterday, early, we're going to have that huge wick, but there's 376, right? It broke it. We took the log and we got some, we actually got more out yesterday on Microsoft than we did on AMD today, but then it dropped right back in. And then we were like, we saw this little bottom happen at 74 and then we bought it and then it ripped back up to 76. So we were able to make money there regardless of screwing up that first trade. So that's kind of the stuff that you need to watch out for. And that's why we're able to, today on AMD, you're gonna look and say, why is this guy complaining he's $1 in the money? But realistically, it's just like, it found that bottom at 149, and thankfully it didn't break there, but we trusted it off the 200 and bought some back. So we're able to make a little bit of money back on that trade. So, you know, a little bit of back and forth here. Again, I like the name, like some of these trades, but you really have to love them to put on a lot of shares. So, and I like Amazon short at 154, by the way. I don't know if that's a target for you.
That's a little bit of a target for some more outs there. We're kind of pulling back here.
Coin?
But again, we have the shares from underneath 153.
Whoa.
And looking for higher lows on Amazon again, and NQNES not really doing too much, still well within that opening range there, as I've been saying before.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we could be getting a huge flush here. I don't know what's up with crypto right now, but we are getting kicked right now. I don't know the proper term to use, but we are getting kicked right now in this. Coinbase downside pretty big right now, down 3%. I'm not seeing any movements whatsoever. I know Derek just got up, but we'll find out if there is anything happening with Coinbase. Okay, Sharif's gonna look, because I don't see anything. HUD 8 is down 8% as well. So everything's going to the downside. This doesn't seem to me, oh no, this doesn't seem to me to be a huge move. This is a 5-minute chart. So let's go to like a 3-minute and see if we can get a little more accurate on this to see if anything's happening. It's just 42.8, like we were just at 43. I don't see why this is crashing. And I should be careful with the words here. I don't know if we're crashing or not. But I don't see what this move's all about right now. Possibly we're just, okay, good. So we do have some information on this. Thank you, Sharif. And we will look into that and see if we can't get a little bit more on what's happening right now in the cryptoverse. HUT 8 was another one that I was looking at. To go short early on it, sorry, to go long, but look at HUT 8. Wow. Some of these names definitely downside. So thank you, Sharif. Here is what Sharif says. Okay, there is some news here. Bitcoin miners offload 129 million Bitcoin in one day, sending reserves to the lowest point since May. Okay, so we'll read this article and we'll get it figured out, but it looks like there is a reason for that. And look at this. You want to talk about a buy. This could be a huge buy. Look at that big green spike down there at 1450 on HUD 8. So let's pay attention to that, man. Like I said again, Obi, man, you never know what's going to happen here today. We were starting to talk about names like Mara to the long side. Only down 3%, but this is quite a nice move down now that I don't think a lot of people were expecting.
A little bit of selling, it would seem, going into Friday. There, you're telling me that Bitcoin's also selling off a little bit here. Let's take a quick look at what Bitcoin is up to. Yeah, okay, a little bit of a push. We tried to push into 43 there, and we're pulling back in through that 43.
There is some fighting back.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the volume kind of picking up as well in and around or coming into these opening hours there on Bitcoin, and I guess some of these crypto names also catching a bit of a sell. Oh wow, take a look. Mara was the one you're looking at.
Look at the size there on Mara, right?
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. So a little bit of a strong volume candle on that flush, and then we kind of rebid right back through that these flush prices there. Let's see if we can break the candle high here, 27 halves. But yeah, definitely some strong selling happening in the crypto world there. Let's see. Well, I don't know. Did we get any news? I think, did Sharif say he's sending you something for?
Yeah, it was just. I'll have to read it. If Adara can sort of go through it, she's way better at like understanding things like that, especially on the fly when we're trying to do this. But it was something about Bitcoin miners dumping some of their coins. So okay. And again, you know, Bitcoin's starting to move downside now a little bit. I'm going to try a short in Coinbase, but the thing is, again, I don't want to be scared of it because we talked about that, and that, you know, a profitable and a successful trader should not be one that is scared to take a trade. There's one thing, I think it was, I don't know if it was Neil or Dara or Sharif or somebody, but it's not about being, what I mean when I say stuff like that is that you shouldn't be afraid. There's one thing to be nervous. Nervous is a completely other thing. Like when I'm holding, again, that 500 shares a buck against me, I'm nervous. That's not a great position. I'm nervous and I got to think about where to get out in case this gets worse. But I'm not scared to take the trade, and I'm also not scared to punch out when I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's like confidence breeds success, I believe, especially in day trading. And let's go over to Adara.
So yeah, so with regards to this Bitcoin story, from what I can tell, and we'll have crypto update as well in about 15 minutes. We can get to that as well there. But basically, Bitcoin miners are reducing or lowering their BTC holdings. The miner prices are decreasing, and this is happening over concerns over BTC price susceptibility. So that's what's happening right now. I will continue to look into this, guys.
Okay, so there we go. So we get the story there, and it is what Sharif was mentioning there, releasing some coins. So we'll find out what exactly is going on. Bitcoin holding out okay at 42.7 right now, but it is making that move down. I was trying to get short 182, but I only put that out when I talked about it a couple minutes ago. So right there, we miss out on that one. I assume Mara is getting, oops. Why did it go to Brazil? Like, is Mara trade in Brazil? Okay. All right, so 27.50. What if we break 26.80 here on Mara? All right, I need to have another look here. Apple's making the move down. What else is like a Bitcoin-related name here? Like, do we want to look at the chip names for Bitcoin in case that gets it up? I don't know. But here goes Mara. It looks like it's trying to bounce off 27. A little bit of a longer time frame here. 27 is a nice level. We gapped from there, so this could be a little bit of a hold. The problem is when I take a trade, we just broke through it, is that where are you going to get out if you're wrong? Like, we still have that 25.50. Maybe we just wait for that. Obviously, there it goes, man. Mara really forever ever making it okay. There goes 180. Damn it, this should be a $2 winner and I don't have it. I'm not happy about that either. All right, back over. Oh wow, some of these names really, Adara, really falling down right now in the crypto space, guys. So just be careful with everything now. I feel like this could get pretty nasty here as the year of Bitcoin is still here, but for right now we're heading south side and over to the desk to Adara for Sector Watch.
Yeah, lots of crypto to talk about, but also lots of small caps for now, including ADTX. This one falling down a little bit here, but we are up still about 50%. Not seeing any specific stories, but we did have with this one a 45% short float, so definitely of interest there. We also have Wrap Technologies. WRAP is the ticker for this one, up about 10% after announcing its largest ever Bola wrap order. So this is, I guess, a restraint system, 4.9 million order for Q4 here, guys. Last but not least, YCBD. This one is a CBD related name. Float of 2 million. No specific news story I'm seeing on this, guys, but very small float.
All right, thank you, Adara. Boosh goes Apple right now. Spend a little bit of money for that one as that's coming to the downside right now as well as finally the futures look like they want to break. So breaker 1.9, do you read? Are you finally going to get below VWAP here and stay there? We are just touching levels that we've already been to. So I'm kind of just overplaying this. I don't know where we're going to go right now. So let's just see where we do eventually wind up today. But so far so good, that's for sure. All right. Good on ya. What's your position on Amazon? You're down 153.02, so you've averaged into that trade?
No, I got out some more.
Okay, you got out some more. Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Got out
Okay.
some more.
What's your thought? All right, you know what? Let me just go back over to Coinbase because as things are moving, holy, Bitcoin is fine right now, guys. I can't tell you enough about that. The Bitcoin is fine. I mean, by fine, this is a move down, but like this is $200. Like I'm not expecting like $200 on a $43,000 name. Like I'm not expecting 5% here on coin. So there goes coin, and I'm assuming that Mara also. I feel like we have to be patient with it. Maybe this is the bottom there. Did we get a volume spike? No, we don't get that wick bottom either. So it's not lining up for this to have been that great bottom. That's sort of I'd hoped for. So let's just wait to see where we go. But right now it is a movement to the downside here on some of these names. Do we just go short? The problem is going short 27 there doesn't solve that much. Because then if I go short now, it's only 11 cents. Not sure that's really worth it, especially if we do get a bounce back here in some of these names. But you know what? It's more like, I like Mara, but I'm just wondering if Coinbase is going to be a little bit better of a trade. Look at Coinbase, giving it all back, man. Wow, 177. This is 177 could be something interesting. It's 176 actually. Wow, man, we are really, this is a big, like, where's the last time we saw a candle like this? Oh yeah, yesterday to the green side, coming into 176. I'm gonna buy, do we buy this against 176 here, guys? What say you, everybody?
That's dumping pretty hard.
Yeah. Oh man, I think I kind of want to try it, but I don't want to. I'm going to try it, I guess. 176 here on Coinbase. Wow, this is really coming in, guys. All right, we'll try a small bid right there. And then honestly, if we break it, we're going to have to get a little bit lower, but we'll punch out if we break it. Just making sure my stop order's in right now. We're going to try it on Coinbase. Oh man, I put the wrong price. Okay, we got in and out there real quick. So for flat, there's 176 coming in right now. You know what? Forget about it, man. This stock is just tanking now, and I don't even see anything. That might have been. Was that wick bottom that we're looking for? All right, let's try it. We won't take on too many shares right now. Let's try this against 175, okay? Someone bought that back up right there. We'll get a little bit lower here, and then if we break 174, then we will exit stage left pronto on Coinbase. So we'll try it. We're not necessarily loaded up, but we do have shares right now. Let's see what happens on this trade for Coinbase. Waiting for a marker here of breaking through 175. There's the long. We're in it right now, 175.30 on Coinbase.
Yeah, so I'm just watching and waiting, kind of continuing there. Pieced off of a little bit more of the Amazon again.
We'll take $1.
Yeah, the target was 154. We got up into the 80s, so that's pretty close there, about 15 pennies away from the target, and we did kind of pull back a little bit, 153 halves. That's where pre-market highs are. That's where pre-market highs kind of consolidated, and we're holding above pre-market high consolidation here as of right now on Amazon. Again, NQ not really doing too much. Yeah, sure, it faded a little bit there, but take a look at these past 3 15-minute candles. Wicks on both sides, $2 in the money.
$2 in the money, Coinbase.
Beauty.
Okay, that was a good buy, man. Rocketing up the board right now is Coinbase. Adara, give me some good news about Coinbase, please.
I have news on Coinbase. So this was reported midday yesterday, but basically what happened here is Cathie Wood selling about $27.6 million worth of shares in Coinbase. She also sold some GBTC shares. This was so that she could buy more shares in the ProShares Bitcoin ETF. So Cathie Wood selling almost $28 million worth of Coinbase shares yesterday, guys.
Solid. Quick momos.
Hallelujah. All right, we'll do a little bit of stupidness here because it's why not. We'll do a little bit of hot dog gun now. Wow, did we just bang that trade right there, guys? On that, like that Coinbase, boom to the upside there. You could see we bought. Now we're getting out. So we only have a third left, but wow, that was, see what I'm saying? Like there we go. Like not afraid to take, let's go. We're now going to be $3 right now in the money on this trade. And again, shout out to Nimit, shout out to everybody that we said crypto is going to be looked at today. I did not know for this reason. But here we go, man. Reasons be damned. It's crypto time, and there it is right now, man. That's the trade. We still have a third. This could still like completely collapse. So let's just see if that happens. But that's why we take that out, man. It came up to 178. You see where we're long, 175.30. Take $2.70 there, put that in your pipe and smoke it, and let's see where we go now. AMD still ripping.
Coming in real hot.
Real hot.
Real hot.
Real hot.
It could not break VWAP. That's what I noticed. It could not break VWAP, so I just stayed long, I think.
Oh, Amazon is coming,
you're still
boy.
Yeah, Amazon is coming into that 150, 154 there. Instead of adding on the 153 halves, I got out. Mistakes were made. I can definitely do better there. I even talked about it. It's holding pre-market high consolidation, and then we're getting wicks on the NQ as well. We're holding up pretty nicely, and the structure is forming. The tape is looking decent there. Buyers are coming in, kind of continuing that weekly trend that we've been seeing. Here comes some highs on AMD. 150.70s coming in now.
Wow.
I did get rid of these initial shares that I was just like, this is a little bit chasey there through the 154s. So I kind of got myself some better prices here. Let's see how well this AMD works out for now. But that 154, we're knocking on the door there, Sean, of 154. So not a good idea for me to kind of piece out here in the 153 halves, right? I think the area to kind of look for the sell, in my opinion, is the top of the range in and around this 154 area. And again, once we come back in, we do get an instant kind of a flush back into the 80s there. And AMD still holding, can't really break into those highs there. We've made about almost 3 tops here, 150.80s, and getting crushed back down to the downside there. So volatility definitely galore on this ticker here on AMD today. Again, we talked about the 150. We can't really expect it to be clean, and we're getting exactly that: the uncleanliness, the choppiness, the messiness of the level. But overall, in between all of that fugaze, we've only held VWAP. So I think that's something to note. Something to note. The volatility is like we print up 50 pennies. We flush down 50 pennies. 30, 20 penny like wipes both ways. But overall, the behavior that's kind of calm and distinguishable across all of that chop is the VWAP hold, and I think that was kind of some good information to see there. 153.90s come in on Amazon and can't really print above 90s.
Yeah, 80.
I'm still patiently waiting. Again, you can see the structure happening on the NQ. Yeah, exactly. I think it's.
I actually took some out there at
sell.
75. Like I'm just trying to scalp back in a little bit, but
yeah, that's
no, I'm just
solid.
saying again, like we're on the same wavelength with everything here. I know Amazon's super strong, so we're gonna try to scalp out. Like look at this short. Like, can you believe we actually have that up there? So here we go. We just took a 71 out as well as we just continue to sort of milk this. All right, here we go, man. It's only up 0.2 right now in the market, and the ES is down 0.1. So never fear, Adara is here because everyone's wondering what's going on with crypto. Let's go find out.
I did some more reading. I have some more answers on what is going on with this crypto Bitcoin mining situation. So basically the Bitcoin miners have offloaded $129 million BTC in a single day. So now the Bitcoin reserves, or the miners' reserves, have gone to their lowest point since May. Some crypto analysts are saying this is probably due to selling pressures because we did have that huge move up in Bitcoin, apparently 13% increase for December. So that could be what's happening here. That is the look from CoinDesk here on what's going on with Bitcoin and these miners. In terms of Bitcoin itself, pretty much hanging out just kind of below this 42,800 area. We're kind of topping around between 42,600, 42,800, but not as much movement here. Very much still in that consolidative range we've been seeing as of late. Bitcoin, yeah, as you can see here, just right above this 42.7 area. Ethereum hanging out around the midpoint of the 2,300 area. Solana, really interesting though, up 8.5%, up to 108 here. The rest of these pretty mixed, some up and some down, but I would say Solana definitely a big one to keep an eye on here, guys.
Oh shoot, I got that Amazon fill. Cancel. Thank you, Adara. So we get that Amazon fill back down there at 65. I wasn't sure if we got it, but we did get it. So I was going to put another bid out there, but we did get that on Amazon, and we just talked about it with Obi about trying to short in front of that 154. And again, although we take some cuts on Amazon, you know, you make it all back, and now you're going to go green on Amazon here. Small little cuts, and then wait for that ultimate price of 154. And I make like little sticky notes even throughout the day about prices that I'd be considering. And we wrote down Amazon at 154, and we actually talked about that as we were getting rinsed over and over again. And I said, we just gotta wait for 154. You know, there it is right there, the couple tops. Sometimes, honestly, it's like the long is way better. Obi has the way better trade, but it's just like these tops, they give them to you. So sometimes it's like no matter what kind of lines you draw up in here, you know, sometimes you just got to sort of zoom back out and see the bigger, grander picture. And like right now, here's 30 cents pretty easily on the back side of that move to the upside. So yeah, Apple's still participating. We did not, I tried to buy a little more coin down there at 175, but I'm still trying to wait for that same price I have now, 175.30. If it comes back in, fine. I probably should get out. I just want to see if it does retrace right back up to the upside, because Bitcoin's still 42,750. So ever since we've had this position, nothing's really been happening in Bitcoin. So wow, there it goes again, man. Fisker back up to day's high. You want to talk about a name that's really working? It's Fisker today. And yeah, we are getting a little bit of that money on this position. So far so good here with Fisker. By the way, bye-bye. There goes Coinbase breaking through 175. So make the money, right? Be green on the stock, but give a little bit back there as it takes down 175 again. Bye-bye Coinbase. Wow, short the pops, man. So now that I've seen this, now we know. We make the money on the long, fine, but then lose on the last, well, we didn't lose. We lost 30 cents on the last 1/3 right there. But here it comes, man. Continuously moving lower. Crypto, definitely the thing to look at right now.
Yeah, so I did punch out of most of the AMD there, because again, getting a little spooked as the NQ and the ES flushing hard to the downside. And yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna get out of everything here. Be a little bit more patient. Something's going on, so I do wanna kind of stay a little bit protected there. If the NQ is gonna flush to the downside like that, VWAP also came in quite hot, or actually we broke below VWAP. So like I said, the behavior before, we were wicking VWAP initially, but this consolidation was holding very nicely on top of VWAP, and then you get this strong flush on the market, and this first time in the past, I guess since about 10 o'clock, so almost 30 minutes. In the past 30 minutes is the first time we broke that VWAP kind of distinctly, a little bit of a behavioral change there in terms of how we've interacted with VWAP. So I'm just going to piece off and kind of let it work. We took some of our profits there. You can see we pretty much got similar prices on the way back down, and that's perfectly fine. We try to capture the best move that we could. But yeah, Sean, that short off the 154 coming in real nice.
It's coming in
that 154 high of the range, and I was just like, okay, well maybe I was sitting at that 154 with an order, but then again, I'm hoping for too much. We talk about low volatility. Can you expect? You got the dollar. You got the 153 to one. You got more than a dollar, because it went down to 152.70s, right? And then went up all the way to 153.90. So you got a full point on that. About a quarter of your ATR is what you got off of the morning dip on Amazon there. And I think, again, being the last day of the year, low volatility, potentially low volume. It's not necessarily doing significant RVOL. It's not necessarily in play, but we're just looking for the beta there to just taking taking the chop off of the potential beta move, plus confluenced with weekly multi-day structure that we've seen happening on the consolidation on Amazon. That was the trade idea there, and it worked out to its full extent. In my opinion, and if I don't want to sell when it tests 90s and I'm kind of getting greedy and I want the exact 154, that's on me, right? That's something I have to do better with and stay a lot more nimble with my positioning and my account management. But that's again something I'm still learning. It's a work in progress. But with the market flushing and making new lows like that in the opening session, I do want to piece out of my longs and reassess some of these moves there. But take a look at AMD, man. Kind of same, sure. Relatively different behavior versus what we've been doing over the past half hour, but in terms of all day, we've been wicking VWAP pretty decently and reclaiming. So, like I said, if this move is going to happen, I think we're still not done yet. But with the market kind of giving us this information as of right now, I do want to piece out and also kind of give it some more time to build some structure, some significant points here. Highs being at 150.80s, the 151 sellers kind of aggressive when it does come in, and then the 150 buyers also aggressive as it fails to follow through below that 150 on AMD. Again, this one doesn't really have an RVOL. Okay, Amazon actually broke trend, so great reason to sell. So down here, now it's actually breaking through the trend that we've had in the morning momentum. Again, pushing into 11 o'clock. You can expect some of the morning momentum to kind of subside, and we're seeing that happen now. So just want to respect that information coming in, and I'll stay patient. Let me know what you guys are trading. Tom is talking about FSR, so let's take a quick look at Fisker. I know Sean's still long Fisker there, but again, it was on the sticky note. We talked about it doing some significant RVOL in the pre-market, and yeah, wow, holding pre-market lows, breaking out of pre-market highs, and then consolidating on top of pre-market highs before we push through towards new highs as well. 191, Sean. I was looking at some of these levels. I'm like, there's no way Fisker, it's $1, it's a sub $5 ticker, it's $1.50. There's no way we're going to push the $2 mark, but we did on some significant RVOL there. So I am definitely mistaken. I had 184 as a bit of a level here. Again, why is that? If you take a quick look left, 184, kind of this earnings reaction high. So I like that earnings reaction high, a little bit of a reference price at that 185, and we're holding above that reference as of right now on Fisker. A nice consolidation, again, confluenced with pre-market high, with VWAP, holding above VWAP and over earnings reaction high as well, plus doing relative volume. So I definitely missed out on this trade as it was a name on the sticky, and it's doing the dues here above that 180 mark. Yeah, the NQ is kind of flushing to the downside here. I'm still waiting to see what the next trade is. But yeah, Santa Claus rally, who? Exactly.
Yeah, it looks like we might only be up 1% by the time the Santa Claus is finished here at the end of the day, but we'll wait to see. We'll wait to see. Coinbase making a nice move back, but Mara not really. Coinbase bottomed out there. Can you believe it, at 173? We started the day at 188. Down $13 and now 6% on Coinbase as that continues to march lower, and that kind of sucks, that's for sure. The trade on Amazon was an absolute banger. I know you just talked about it. AMD's come all the way back in right now pretty aggressively as well. I'm not even sure I want this long. I've actually canceled my long now on AMD. I'm not like thrilled with this position, so I feel like that's the right thing to do, would be to wait on this one and then see where we go from here on AMD. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to throw it over to Adair now.
Very mixed across the board, as you can tell. Not a lot of sectors really standing out as positive or negative at this point. We did have a little bit of strength in distribution services, especially compared to what we're doing here in the rest of the market. But definitely also some of these chip names on watch in electronic technology, NVIDIA and AMD to the high side. NVIDIA also reporting that their gaming chip for China is set for delivery. So that's definitely something of note. They have prepared that slightly less powerful gaming chip specifically for China. Lots of weakness here as well, or at least mixed sentiment in the technology services. Google still on watch here with regards to that settlement of the privacy lawsuit. A little bit of weakness here too in retail trade, with Costco to the downside despite an upgrade and a price target increase this morning. Home Depot also to the downside here, guys.
HD. HD, Home Depot. We like Home Depot. Good name there. That's for damn sure. Okay. By the way, first of all, we're still in Fisker. That's my trade of the day for sure. Let's just go over here quickly and look at NVIDIA because that's bouncing off 496 as well. So that could be a trade for anybody looking to get some spice in their life as well. NVIDIA down to 496 again, like completely crashing in here. And I don't want to. I keep saying the word crash, and that's not what I mean. It's just, this is just sort of a rebalancing right now of some of these names. I mean, the NASDAQ is finally looking to push down. And again, remember the name that I said I wanted to really short all day? It was Apple. Well, hit the sirens, man.
Apple with a sell, continuation.
I mean, look where Apple is right now. It's down to 193, dog. We're short at 193.75. Let's put an 08 bid out, and we still have some position on. So there it is. Bang, we get that fill, and bye-bye Apple as it's going to the downside, and so is this whole damn market right now. Does not want to stop. I thought I had a stop for my AMD stop is breaking through 149. So I don't have any shares. Remember I told you guys we have like 5% left of our position, just waiting to see. There it goes, man. Everything cracking. We are now out of Apple as that took down 193. I might look back and be like, why did we get out of everything? But still, you know, we want to be able to capture profit when profit comes through. So right there, we are now out of Apple. For me, that's a diamond hands trade right there, and we're pretty happy about it for sure. All right, AMD, man, 148.
I'm happy I got out of that trade when I did.
Amazon?
No, on AMD. Well, both, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think Amazon's still kind of holding in and around the area where I'd like to add for a potential long there. But with the market doing this, I do want to stay a little bit nimble there. But yeah, great reasons to sell here up in the 150.80s. I'm like, is this setting up as a triple top? Like, we've tested price 3 times here, and we can't really get through the 151. The closest we got was this 3rd time around, and then we flush right back in. So I do piece off a little bit there. I'm sitting there in the 70s, and I punch more out actively in the 80s, and I'm like, okay, sellers are pretty aggressive here. I do have to respect that. And then market goes quadunk to the downside off of that 17.1. I'm like, I got to get out of the way here because behavior has definitely changed significantly. Apple's weak. NVIDIA tanking to the downside, Sean. Holy, what is going on here? I read somebody in the, wow, 499.89 is the high today on NVIDIA Classic. I just want to point that out. But
499, oh my
89.
God.
So like by 2 pennies, 500 by 2 pennies. Talk about a rejection of a level by 2 pennies. It didn't even want to print it. It didn't even want to print it, and we quadunk 6 points to the downside, right? As the market flushes. Where's Tesla?
We're $1 in the money now on Amazon. So
oh boy.
Oh boy.
250 on Tesla just broke as well.
Yeah, it's at 249 right now, Tesla. Oh boy. As this market is getting a little saucy right now, and yeah, this is great. I remember the last time you were here, you were having some heart palpitations.
Oh yeah, this reminds me something similar to that, but like I've lived
your
through
heart
it.
Today, though?
Oh, it's perfectly fine.
See, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we improve, we get better, or try to at least. I guess that's
I mean, I asked you that question knowing that was your answer.
Yeah, no, this reminds me significantly of that move that we had. So now I'm going to stay patient. If I want to play a reversion on this move here, I'm going to stay a little bit patient. 17 thou coming in. We're only about 30, 35, 40 points away from that, and strong flush into that level. Like we said, every about 100 points, and that 17 thou interaction staying very, very interesting across over the past few weeks there, and the market catching a little bit of a sell. Let's see if the buyers step up anywhere in and around these areas today. But instead of playing the reversion on the quadunk and trying to catch a falling knife based off of what I'm seeing on the tape there, I'm going to stay a little bit more patient. Those same prices can come in on the right side of the move when they do, when we have more information of us holding some levels and a potential change in the tape there. But yeah, I'll just stay patient and kind of register this market generated information as of right now. But yeah, that you were like Obi was having heart palpitations. That was pretty funny a few days ago. I was like, yeah, no, of course. I was like, yeah, I was a little nervous, I was anxious, but not scared to take the trade, like you said, right? And then I was like, this is a really good place to buy. I like the buy here. I'm going to continue buying this dip, giving it a wide risk.
Yeah.
The reversion, I realized the reversion does come in, but it didn't come in intraday. It was more of like a swing reversion through that market dump, and the next day we gapped up and we popped. We did about a 50 to 60% reversion of that dip the very next day. So I was like, that's a little bit of a learning lesson for me, where I'm like, it could be a good action to buy, it could be a decent prices to buy, but the picture, the trade itself, could be much bigger than just the intraday. Right, so
there's always
things to learn. Lots to learn there on that move. 17,000 coming in.
Dude, I'm just glad that you're feeling better about trading today than you were that day before, because that's what it's all about to me, and it should be like that to you as well. But look, I put some risks on. You know, I'm here to take risks. You know, so are we all. I bought ARM. I mean, ARM, strongest name, buy dips. Okay. You know how much we lost there on ARM there? I mean, to me, the risk, well worth it. We lost 23 cents buying ahead of 76.50. I thought it could have stopped. See this little green candle here in the NASDAQ? I thought maybe that might have been the bottom. But now you're down to 17,000 again. Maybe that's the bottom. You know? Who knows? And that's what we're going to try to find out. We're going to find out very soon. Yeah. If 17,000 is coming into play.
It's a good place to look for buyers to kind of step in, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to let ARM fall down, though, because honestly, that is whoop.
This is a V-shaped quadunk on everything.
It's a V-shaped quadunk.
Yeah.
Sure.
Amazon's about to make fresh lows on the day.
We've got $1.10.
Absolutely beautiful short there, Sean. Great reasons to sell. I was like 153 range low, 154 range high. Right, and we came right back into the range low there.
You know what? We're right at a buy level, though. What do you think about this? Oh, that's Amazon.
On Amazon, right here? Yeah, I mean, I'm watching it. I'm patiently waiting, but with the market doing this, I'm gonna wait for more structure to kind of print and more information. We're still selling on the tape. A lot of just bids and mids, so not really anything too significant to the buy side there, but more bids than mids for sure. And with that 17,000 coming in, I do want to stay a little bit more patient there. But the short idea, Sean, wow, you definitely had that down, and the 500 reject that was kind of telling there, kind of a market pulse, if you want to call it. NVIDIA pushes 2 pennies away from 500 and then starts printing lows on the day, and then the market kind of goes along with it. Same thing with SPY. SPY consolidation yesterday. I'm just reading this right now. I'm just speaking whatever's coming through into my mind, and whether that's true or not, I have no idea. But you guys are along for the ride. Let's just say that. Consolidation yesterday, quite strong, right? Sideways. We're like, oh, it's not doing anything. Beautiful range trade. Absolutely beautiful range trade. It gave you the levels once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then into the close as well, it wipes that same range, so it gave it to you a few times. But coming into today, we break yesterday's low, a significant range low from yesterday, and then take a look at the selling that comes in off of that breakdown. That's pretty wild there. 475 coming in as a little bit of a buy on the SPYs there. So let's see, that's previous consolidation, kind of where we started off the week here, ended off the week last week. So last week's highs are coming in on, again, strong action here. Let's take a quick look at the weekly on the SPY to get a better picture of what we are up to. So you can take a look. We are very, very strong pushing into the end of the year here. Week opening price is at 47407. So with only about a point away from that level, strong flush off of these highs there, 477 half.
Why did I get out of that?
Did we print those today? No, right? We printed those yesterday? Yeah, we printed those yesterday. So week highs were consolidation flat highs, where all day we pretty much, from 9:30 to 4 p.m., we just printed, we couldn't get past those highs, and then today we break the lows of that consolidation, and we're getting a little bit of a strong sell coming in off of that. So just a quick observation on from what I'm seeing here. 17,000 coming in real hot.
Real hot. We're going to try along on, we're going to try along. First of all, Amazon, thank you so much for covering that one. We're right back at this bottom again for Amazon. It just took it out, man. 152.50. That might be that wick to go long there on Amazon. So let's just get the heck out of Dodge on this one and put $1.30 in our damn pocket. There goes AMD. You know what, AMD? We weren't friends early, but let's be friends again, please. And let's just go back up to the upside as we buy off that 148. And a friend of mine is Adara, and she's over at the big desk with Money Talks.
Yeah, USD actually not doing too much talking today. The DXY pretty flat on the day. We're around that 101.20 area. We did get Chicago PMI data earlier today, so that was a little bit lower than the estimate, 46.9 versus the 51 estimate. So definitely a bit of a decrease here. Lots of economic data coming this next week, though, including JOLTS job data, the FOMC minutes on Wednesday, and non-farm payrolls coming next Friday, guys. So even though it's a shortened week, jam-packed with economic data that could be impacting the DXY.
Me and Obi are just talking. You might as well talk to everybody about it, because why not? We were saying like this flush, you know, people don't want to buy. And I mentioned to Obi, and I said, like, if you're, what just happened? Oh, Amazon. That's a good one. Face slap. Nice move. Here's Amazon. I mean, so the idea is like, I feel like everyone's doing exactly what me and you were talking about before, and that is that no one wants to buy these dips, not now. The market's been so strong. You actually want to buy a dip on the last day of the year when a lot of rhetoric is being spilt about tax loss harvesting and all this kind of stuff, right? So it's like, if you buy now, potentially, where is your out? And you're going to have to wait for January anyways. And then coming into today, into this market, by the way, man, me and AMD continue not to be too much friends. As there it is. We just took a shot there at 148 there and lost it. So now I'm thinking, like, honestly, if we can't go the way we think it's going to go, then we just have to go short. I know that's obvious to say that now. We're only down 0.48, but we just didn't hold 148 there on AMD. We hit 151s today. So you are getting down. But look, don't think that this market, it's only down 0.6, you know. I think there's more to come here for sure. Whether or not it is a downside move or what's my out on Fisker? So I only have 10% left of Fisker. Like we talked about getting a piece out there. We only had 30% when this was happening. So boom, boom, and then that's it. I don't have an out for Fisker. If you're in position, I mean, you'll be crazy, in my opinion. 176, it's below VWAP. It's the bottom of the day. If you're long Fisker into this move down, you know, you may want to dump some of that position there on Fisker. So I would watch out for that one. I'm going to buy some more back here on AMD. And again, remember what I said my biggest problem is like, you know, liking a stock, but then liking it too much and going continuously back to the well. So I am well aware that right now I'm doing it here on AMD. We got a nice move back there. That was not that many shares. We saved it for we got long at 148.05, you know, and then got out when it broke. So 147.94 or something was my fill. Yeah, we got some 92, some 94. So, man,
this thing's been running up for quite a while.
Our net is still fine.
It makes sense. People taking profits on a failure to follow through of 150. Again, it's holding trend. Like you said, it's not really a significant pullback on the day, but take a look at the longer term trend, right? I think this is still, like, we've had strong flushes on the way up. Again, oops, I did not want to do that. But yeah, on the way up here, take a look. 135 is kind of an interesting area, right? A little bit of a psychological level as well. And when we break through that 135, take a look at this. Similar kind of action, wipes, consolidations. The sells are strong. And then you eventually break back above that range, and then you push back up. So it seems like AMD has been kind of doing similar types of moves in terms of magnitude here, where it kind of has a strong flush about a few points there, maybe doing multiples of ATR. Let's take a quick look at AMD ATR here. Let me just pull that up. AMD ATR is $4. All right, it's 4 points.
Yeah, not even there
change
yet.
There, and yeah, so it's done its ATR when how many? What's the range on this? This is the largest kind of range day that I see, and it does about 6. Okay. So it does about 6 points. So on a day like that, it does do a little bit above our vol, but today we've barely done almost a full ATR. Sorry, that's what I meant. So full ATR there. So we're pushing about 3.5 points there. and the ATR is about 4 and some change, according to FinViz there. So we're pushing about an ATR of worth of a pullback there. A lot of strong levels to observe going forward in the future. Potential resistance trend support right there. This is a significant kind of wick, significant kind of price action there. So that 144 as well, kind of 150, not really following through. End of the year, maybe some profit taking, but that selling came in real hot when that 150 rebroke, Sean. That was absolutely wild. Great reasons to sell, and I'm glad I respected those. Again, I was talking to you about how sometimes I have trouble. Okay, this does look like a little bit of a buy area here on Amazon there, Sean. Good call out.
Yeah, that was a great out,
152, 152, and some, or underneath 153 and some change. So 152.80s, holding 60s, 70s was what I was looking for here earlier, and we just pretty much do a double bottom. So maybe this is a day where the market does some crazy moves, but Amazon just chooses to consolidate and go sideways, and I think that's a little bit of the information that we're seeing there right now. So if Amazon's going to continue to do a little bit of a range day today, I'll definitely be looking to get involved again in and around the edges of this range that's been defined as of right now. 17 thou, though, we talked about looking for potential buyers and bidders there on that initial test of that 17 thou, and so far as of right now, we have been catching a little bit of a bid. So if I take this off the 15-minute, you can see this consolidation. So we are slowing down. Look at this. When was this? This was about 10:30 here. It says 9:30 on the chart, but 10:30, kind of strong quadunk, breaking this morning consolidation range as well. Strong sells come into the 17th thou, and that's where we catch a little bit of consolidation, about a 20 point consolidation above the 17th thou. So a little bit of buying being observed on top of the 17. Let's see where we go from here. But Apple, Sean, oh wow, 193. 193 was a level I did want to interact with over the past few days, and we have come right back in to that 193. So we didn't really get it yesterday, but yeah, no, it can definitely, it's got range on the week, that's for sure. Week lows down here at 191. So we got room to go, but this consolidation kind of significant V-shaped consolidation into end of day, and we're holding some of these prices in and around that 193. So I'll stay watch. A little bit of confluence with that 17 thou bounce on the NQ. So potential for longs to come in, maybe. That's what I'm starting to think here. And again, like I said, I'll stay patient. I'll wait for some structure to form. I want to trade based off of some confluence stack today. So I'm waiting for the next trade.
Yeah, we got 50 cents in the money now on AMD. We bought that 148. We talked a little bit about that, but we are starting to get out of it. We're only out right now of 40%, and it's kind of bouncing around here. I'm going to take another, we'll just take another 48 there. Now I'm going to cancel and see if we can get back up to the upside. Yeah, we had that Apple short, man, and we talked about that. This is like the big banger, which is why my net is actually fine right now today. Good move down for Apple. We had too many bids here at 193. I actually should have looked at my blotter. I didn't realize we had another bid there, but again, it was only small percentage points left, so that was a good trade right there. Fisker, we've talked about it, and how about this Uber short? Come on.
Oh, wow.
Mamma mia.
It does come in. You just got to stay a little more aggressive.
Yeah, you still got a little more aggressive, and I feel like that's fine.
Yeah. You had the idea. That's all. It couldn't even get to 64s, right?
I really like doing the show with you, Obi. I love going back and forth with you and analyzing trades. So good job. It's 10:59 though. It's almost over.
We're having too much fun here.
Yeah, we're having fun. We weren't having fun early. We weren't having fun early, but we're having fun late.
It got there.
Which is the important thing. Crypto is still on everybody's mind. So I feel like Sharif and Adara will be going over Mara and some of the crypto plays because, hey man, we used to call the Midday show Midday Movers. I feel like today we could have some movers for these two fine individuals to look at. So again, you and I will be back at 2 p.m. And we'll chat then. So hopefully we'll be able to find out of some of these longs working or not at that time. But right now it looks like the short is in the market and we are ready. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like, please hit the subscribe to get those notes on what we're doing every single day. Watch us on tradertv.live. Very, very important. And check out all your social media platforms for all of our accounts as well. Oh, before I let you go, one of my friends yesterday, a good friend that I haven't seen in a while, our kids play in different hockey leagues, but we know each other from hockey. He messaged me yesterday and he said, "Is this you?" And it was a fake Trader TV Sean, but it was Trader T_V Sean on Instagram. So the guy was talking to him as if he knew who I was. So it was playing back and forth, like as if it was the real Sean. So he was mentioning, he's asking the guy, he's like, "Oh, you know, the last time I was at your house, we had that espresso, and we had like some little biscotti and all that kind of stuff." And the guy was answering back, like, "Oh yeah, you know I love coffee and all." So the guy was like playing it off as if he was really me. And then the guy got into some more details, and that's when obviously he found out it wasn't me.
Yeah.
And he messaged me, he's like, "Oh, I'm coming over for some espresso." And I was like, "No, you're not." And then it turned out that he was playing around with some of those.
You got to watch out for that.
Fake
especially-
accounts.
Yeah.
So we're now 70
I don't
cents
have
in the
any
money
sources
on
that I interact
AMD.
with.
But the Santa Claus rally, I don't know, you feeling grinchy over there, Sharif? I hear this guy singing. I like it. Let's feel this market in the midday with Sharif and Adara. Ciao, everybody.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to Learn How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara. I am Sharif, and as per usual, we're going to wait for the chat to populate, and then we'll do some shout-outs, the roll call. Chimps already in the chat. He says, number 4, let's go. No, my man, or my whatever. You are number 1 in the chat. Obviously, second to Bears versus Bulls, but they get the pass. They don't get a call-out number 1. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls. The world's greatest moderator. It is not you, Cal Canis. It is Bears versus Bulls. There we go, baby. Still waiting for people to migrate over from the other stream and for the chat to populate. Waiting. Where are these people? They're taking a little bit longer to come over today, Dara, so we're just going to keep waiting.
We will wait.
And, well, no, that's Bears versus Bulls again. Okay, well, we'll start talking about these markets.
Let's
now,
do it.
There we go. Fiddleback. Okay, Fiddleback's in the house. I don't think people are getting sent over
Bears versus Bulls
automatically.
said stream is delayed.